Burger, Billy Monahan revealed. Got the call up, played well. Here he is, the grand final. Spectacular spring afternoon, and the decider is underway. Lowry and Clark, and the former wins it convincingly. Gives Keitel an early opportunity, and that bouncing ball just wanders towards the boundary.
Just a couple of things. Nice bit of play from Lowry and a good bounce for Keitel as well. Luck's very important early in grand finals, particularly all footy matches. But if you can get the bounce of the ball going your way, you can score quickly.
Big matchup, Litherland on strike.
Saw the tone of the match yesterday set in the opening 10 or 15 minutes. What will happen here? Not tries to go off the deck. He'll just extracts it. Gets some good purchase on that as well. Sokol couldn't quite take it, but the Lions able to advance. Big territorial victory here. It's just trickling towards the line. Kept in by Gordon. Missed his target. West Perth, they do have some leg speed. Into the hands of Black. Around his body. Not. Will have to lay the tackle. Did enough. Ball squirts free. Road. Release handball. Chopped off by Black. And that bouncing ball is deemed a boundary throw-in.
The first attack, Sokol wanted the boundary line because the numbers certainly favoured West Perth behind the ball, about 5-2 at one stage. And the guy that got the kick in, Sokol, came from in front of the ball.
What about the contest between Strike and Litherland? It's going to be a ripper.
Ball tossed in just outside the attacking 50 for West Perth. Nelson conceding ground, sweeping hand pass, falls to Meadows. Kitchen with the pressure. And in the end, taken by Kennedy. Hand pass knocked down. And has to be said, you talk about the Falcons' intensity being up. Well, albeit only 90 seconds in, it looks okay.
Good start.
There it is, Andrew Strike. What a season he's had. 50 goals for the year. He might get an opportunity now. Inside 50. Up he goes and he takes it with a vice-like grip.
He's had a good season.
How about this? Just plucked it out of the air beautifully under extreme pressure.
He's the one player they need to stop, Subiaco.
Wouldn't surprise you if he kicked this, would it?
He
He's
could
just
pick
got
a bag.
Beautiful leg. Go to
Very
banana.
Tight angle. Uses the outside of the boot. Oh! Almost. The umpire didn't move too far. That had me thinking.
He's a ripper, Andrew Strike. Love watching him play. He's probably the match winner up forward, really, for West Perth. They clear out, give him space. He's dangerous running back to the footy, doesn't fumble much. It's going to be a tough contest for Angus Litherland.
Opening score of the afternoon, West Perth's. Big pack here. Clark came from 3 deep. Halligan's kick was knocked down. Hamilton up and down it goes. Not much purchase on that. And Clark going back with the flight. Some numbers in the middle. Instead, opts for the wing. Terrific set of hands shown by Wheeler. Across to Phelan. And that's good ball use. Sokol, 60 out. Puts it to a dangerous position. Horsley going back with the flight. Was it chopping of the arms? Not according to the umpire. Kitchen tries to wrestle it free.
Must have been very close to front-on contact against Horsley. As you have a look there, seen that paid before.
Yep.
Just outside the goal square for Subiaco. Lowry was there. Nelson makes some metres. Here's Rudy, wrapped up immediately. Not worried over the line by Clark.
Important mark for Clancy Wheeler. Very quiet last time he played. Confidence player, off to a good start today.
Very crowded Subiaco forward line at the moment.
Mentioned Rudy Riddick, 15 disposals, 2 goals against South Fremantle, guaranteeing him a place in this afternoon's match. Clark would have been pushed in the process. He will win the free kick. Searching for our opening goal on Macca's match day. 15 out. Ball spills to the front. Black taken high. Aaron Black, captain. Has to be a really precise kick, and is. And the run by Wilhelm opens it up big time for West Perth. Van Berlo on the stretch. Terrific ball use. Next kick important. Keitel. A lot of work to do here. And one thing from that passage of play, Dan, is when clean foot skills are put to use, West Perth can hurt anyone.
It was a daring kick coming out that first one. Beauty, though. Didn't have to break stride. Look at that. And Van Berlo further down the ground. Similar.
Taxing conditions here. Opening stages of this grand final. Chalmers.
I'll be holding the ball, I think.
Yep, good call, Peter, and by the umpire. Expecting a whistle to come, but for a ball up. Head to Lockyer. Short ball. Accommodates Road up against his former club this afternoon. Manzoni there. Oh, brilliantly taken by Newton. Down the line, Fimino was released. It was an awkward ball to trap.
Just got a feeling it's going to be a big day for Newton. He strikes me as being a big game player. He's got all of those stars around him in the midfield. He might be the one to get off the chain.
Crowd really building, as you can see in the stands. Last half an hour. Neither ruckman gets a hand on it, leaving it behind. Was Phelan.
I think that's Larry's tactic, really, just to try and drive him off the ball, Zach Clark, and let it just fall to the ground. That's a good result for him.
Gee, it looks a ripper crowd in as well.
Really has built. Now the ruckman get tangled up there. No whistle on the play. Newton, as predicted by Peter Bell, driving ball at the back. Surely a mark, not paid to Wheeler. Extraordinary there was no whistle on that.
Well, perfect conditions for footy. I reckon that was a mark. I reckon he did enough. What do you think?
Didn't need to use his hands. Just read the ball better.
Had a lot of it, didn't he?
He had a lot. Should have been paid. Should have the first goal.
Not to be. Heavily populated end of the ground in the shade. Clark and Lowry, almost comical in the end. Stolen there by Nelson. Newton, busy. Walters. And the left foot snap just to the left.
That's Larry's role, isn't it? Just work him over, then Coonan comes in and rucks against him.
Yep. Just body him as much as possible.
The midfielders are also very defensive, the West Perth midfielders at those stoppages, knowing Zach Clark's going to win the footy.
Strike comes from 3 deep. Subiaco well represented at the spill, but somehow it came to strike off to Manzoni. Riddick. Plenty of space ahead. Great delivery for Coonan. Wheels and goes, and not. Well, Ruckman showing great dexterity and a lethal left leg.
Why is he retiring, Pete? Good lead up, centre forward.
Wasn't it? And what about the kick here? Just turns and goes and took a bit off it. Keegan Knott. What a vital kick this will be. First blood, perhaps.
Kicked 7 goals during the final, so he has been a weapon.
Their ball movement has been terrific. Their kicking skills elite early in this game, West Perth.
He should love this ground too, shouldn't he? Big, wide expanse to run in.
Begins his approach outside the 50, a stuttering approach, and always off to the right. Can't happen then.
Usually does.
Zach Clark. Just a release for Subiaco. Well, didn't get far enough off the mark.
He's on fire, Coonan. Good pass, now doing the hard things. Getting into Zach Clark.
A win for West Perth, back to a stoppage. Coonan wins it illegally. Wasn't much in it.
So where's Lowry? Is he on the ground? I don't think he is. He might have come off for a break.
For a little.
Oh, there he is.
He's spoken of there, right on cue. Lowry bobs up then.
Oh, there you go.
So Coonan will do the ruck work in the forward line. Lowry will give them a bit of defensive coverage out the back.
How much Richmond like the way they've negotiated their way in this rucking scenario. Not smallest man in the pack. Heitel spent it quickly. Oh, Van Berlo found a way through. Ball was touched in the end. The Lions defence absorbing some pressure here, and it's coming back. Pearce. And Riddick's got a couple to beat in the air. Can't do so. And they're queuing up the last line until Justin Joyce takes the mark and heads towards half back. Munns looking for Manzoni. Worked under it by Wheeler. West Perth still pressing, not off the deck. 3 lines, make that 4 in the vicinity, so should be coming back with interest. In the direction of Wheeler, this time, surely.
Great mark. He started well, hasn't he? And look at, there's a power inboard. It was on. Would have been a risky kick.
Called to move it now. It's Clancy Wheeler. Might to the boundary line. Falcons work it out well. Chalmers, good spot up kick to Manzoni. In turn, Wilhelm. Another forward 50 entry. Can they capitalise on it? Strike. Bouncing ball. Needs to get foot to it. Take it off. The ball. No whistle on that. Seemed extraordinary at the time not to be. Subiaco escape. And Clark at defensive 50 to the wing where Fimino is positioned.
Well, they've set a high bar for a free kick so far, the umpires. I don't mind that, but as long as they're consistent.
Subiaco dodge a bullet there. Sokol with him is Road. Comes out the back door. Kitchen.
It's a good kick.
Here's a good ball. Just outside the goal square. And Sokol can really sting them.
He's such a smart player. He's involved in that initial contest, then ducked out the back, waited for his teammate to win the footy, and there he was, top of the goal square. Great hands. Very good goal kicker.
And Waters did enough on his opponent too, didn't he? I think it was on... was it Alexandre? Not important. It was a good little block.
This is going to sting, isn't it? Strike at the other end, goes down the ground, and Sokol hits the post. The sting isn't too bad.
Well, as you're calling, welcome back then.
That's it.
That's a bad miss, really, under the circumstances. Maybe a bit of footy karma after what we saw at the other end.
It's what happened last year, wasn't it? They couldn't take their chances, missed a lot of shots. Peel Thunder ran away with it.
Saw in the West this week, Cam Shepherd, his advice on how to play this Subiaco side, particularly restricting them to 10 goals or less, which I suppose is
easier said than done.
Exactly.
Good start by West Perth, though. They'll be pleased with it, but they haven't put it on the scoreboard.
Inside 50s, 9-5.
And they've won more footy, 37-34.
Clark directs it to the front. Nelson in the clinches. Can't get enough purchase on the hand pass. Kitchen, Horsley off the outside of the boot. Hamilton's there. Ball hits the deck, not coming out.
He's a unique player, Delahunty, isn't he? He was out of position there, but just halved it, made sure they got another stoppage.
Very good player. Clark with hands on it again, and Newton just broke the tackle. Some confusion between the Subiaco players. Clark's got one arm pinned. And the umpire showing some leniency. This is an arm wrestle. 12 minutes in, no goal. The holding in there. Meadows couldn't break free. Kitchen a chance, back to Meadows. Manzoni was the initial target. Not.
It's a bit out of bounds, I reckon.
Probably a good result.
A good result. Given Lockyer gobbled it up. Exactly what we were called for, Dennis. Just an arm wrestle start. Don't let Subi score. Just chip away at him for as long as you can, contest by contest.
Just hang around.
We have mentioned lack of football for Subiaco in the past month.
You wouldn't have missed him at training, though, Jared Schofield. It's not the same.
Pearce. Ball shut down. DeLuca involved. Back to the hot spot. And Gordon rushed with the kick. Shannon, a fumble. And Pearce, a little overzealous with his tackle. Comes back to Shannon. Joyce and Delahunty getting the bend. Not quite right. It was tailor-made for that type of kick.
Was tailor-made. I would have liked to take a yard and kick a drop punt. Personally, it was a long way out.
Had more time and space, didn't he? And he had a teammate.
Yep.
Probably could have spoken to him a bit more.
It's a good kick.
Wonderful ball for Cunin. And he wheels and goes, as is his wont. It's his target, Connor West. Keitel.
Oh, courageous by Lockyer. And copped it on the way down too.
He did indeed, with some interest.
That was very courageous.
He's been a very good WAFL player. Lockyer, good pedigree.
So a pause in the frenetic nature of this game, which started end-to-end football. Yet to see a goal. Pearce, speculative hand pass. Dropping his knees was Miller.
Bit stiff.
He was hit high. I think the umpire was blindsided.
West Perth making some metres. It's that type of game in this opening quarter of the 2018 Grand Final. Black, Nelson. They know how to rack up 30-plus possessions a game. Pearce has been busy, lost the handle. Now he's in desperate trouble. umpires certainly not taking any risks with their calls thus far. Cunin with the leap. Delahunty with hand on it. Horsley floats it over the top. Alexandra Black. It's hard 140 and a little bit of spice just being thrown into the mix as well.
So good around the ball, Subiaco, aren't they? And West Perth at the moment at least are matching them. How to get a kick in there. There's Kitchen, who was a star in last year's grand final, number 5.
Kitchen and Black getting mixed up there. They were at the Channel 7 studios during the week on very good terms with each other. So that's what grand finals do. Phelan from the stoppage. Terrific overhead. This man Halligan can really find the scoreboard this afternoon. Hamilton's got some work to do on Wheeler.
Wow.
And did enough. Oops, oops, oops. That's a little dangerous and a little bit crude.
He's in trouble.
And that was uncalled for. Just kept the tackle. Yep.
Be okay. He's won himself a free kick. You've got to be so careful near the fence. He started well. He's got a bit of a limp on there, Wheeler, but he has started very well. A couple of big contested marks. Difficult shot at goal here.
By making this a tough assignment. Only 35 out. He'll take his very best.
It's a very good attempt at. He's gone to banana.
Just sliding across the face. And the Falcons can exhale for the time being.
Probably a bit far out. It was shaping okay and then just struck the middle of the ball and it went the other way late.
Some of the midfielders of Subiaco a bit quiet so far. DeLuca, Horsley and also Kitchen. Phelan only had 2 disposals so far too.
Ruckman at it again. Ball hits the ground. Cunin. Interesting disposal. Wilhelm comes over the top. And Kitchen can't break free.
It's been gripping though, hasn't it? Absorbing start to this 2018 WAFL Grand Final.
Clark trying to clear the congestion. Nelson taken to ground. DeLuca. Here's Meadows. Spun through once, twice, with the full 360. Powell confronted immediately.
Prior opportunity. It's a winner, isn't it?
So strong through the hips. Luke Meadows recovering from that shoulder problem he had.
Lions win it at the stoppage. Phelan off a step. And there's our first of the 2018 Grand Final.
Scores from stoppages so important. You wouldn't be happy with that. Bill Monaghan had all their numbers around the ball. West Perth, they've been good in that area so far, but Chris Phelan, we spoke about him being relatively quiet. He's now had the 3 disposals and a very good goal.
Important touch from DeLuca too. Nice hand pass.
Breaking the deadlock. Took the best part of 17 minutes. Horsley, clever tap on. Kitchen ducked the head. And still, they emerge with it. Kitchen, productive through the middle, ends up with Powell. Puts it into a dangerous position. Halligan left it behind. Almost knocked back to Kitchen, who then lays a very strong tackle with a support crew on road.
So Kitchen through the middle, first of all. He just followed up his work there.
He averages 25 possessions over 4 grand finals, the Kitchen.
Pretty good, isn't it?
Not bad.
Player who had no exit there. West Perth defence seeing plenty of the football in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
The inside 50s have evened up. 9-all now. So Subiaco just starting to get rolling a little.
In front was Cunin. Black, hand pass intercepted by Powell. And some pressure on the kick. That's the end result.
Well, hem West Perth in here and force the long kick up the line.
Opportunity for Mark Hamilton. West Perth play.
He go to Keitel, I reckon. Oh, well done. Kitchen nearly kicked it.
And pleads his innocence immediately. Tyler Keitel coming a long way up the ground. This is an audacious kick through the middle. But Wilhelm, despite maybe the sun being a factor, that too has some bravery attached to it as well. Comes up short. The Lions win it and push it to the wing where mark's accepted by Clark.
Well done, Kennedy. Peeled off his man. Stopped the goal, I reckon.
Across to Powell.
Really going for their kicks through the centre, though, West Perth. Really noticeable.
Come off on some occasions. Others could be coming back with interest. Forward 50 entry. Well, Shannon could have been used. Instead,
Holding the ball.
it's holding the ball, which was an easy call to make.
Very easy from here. He had a runner with him. If you watch here, Shannon just... Is it Shannon?
Yep.
Just that little handball flick up, and his mate was clear.
With the leg speed as well. Shannon was...
Yeah. It was Gordon and Shannon working it out together.
Reece Waters back in the side.
Yeah, 12 disposals last week in the reserves. Forces his way back into the seniors.
And importantly, at this moment, the ball is in pretty good hands. He's a good goal kicker. This time it's bending, coming back, and does enough. He strikes from 50. Subiaco with back-to-back goals.
Heck of a kick, this one. Reece Waters gets onto it. Just get the feeling now West Perth need a goal to validate their first quarter of an hour. They've played it very well, but now they're falling behind, and Subiaco, who've dominated the last 20 minutes, are in a strong position.
Out by 14. That ball deemed legal by the umpire. Powell on a collision course with Nelson. Is it because of embarrassment that they decide to call play on that? Clearly disadvantage to Ruckman.
Yeah.
Lowry in front, comes to Nelson. Needs something from their forwards here. Keitel had a piece of Lockyer's jump up.
Holding, really obvious. Good call, Mark. Yeah, you wouldn't want to be the umpire who had the bad stat about recalling the bounce too many times, so they just let it go. Unless it's an absolute stinker.
Lockyer in a Delahunty direction. Had a piece of it. Hamilton wrapped up immediately. Ends up with Powell. Nelson important in here. He needs some support though. Legs were taken out, apparently.
Yeah, he pointed the wrong way. Now that's where it's a difficult rule, isn't it? Because he actually won the footy. So it's against Kitchen for that. Yeah, he had his hands on the ball before Nelson came through, I reckon.
Needs to be a change.
Needs to be changed. Absolutely needs to be changed.
Here's Nelson. Highest possession winner in the competition this year. Averaged 36 disposals in his 3 games against the Lions. 4th in the Sandover last Monday. Well work. Halligan to Luca. It opens up now for Sokol. Pitches. Hands it off to Newton. Missed the target. Fumble. And Munns in desperate strife as well. Delahunty stood in the tackle. Phelan takes something off the kick. Great vision. And Sokol indicating to his teammates he will go back and have a look from 40.
So the moment you're defending Sokol and you get drawn into the contest, unless you get your hands on the footy, there's one place that he's going, it's towards the goal.
He reads it so well, doesn't he? He was involved and ducked out the back into the space. Missed one earlier though. Need this for his confidence.
So you got to weight your game, don't you? If you can't get the ball, then get to Sokol because he's going towards the goals.
Ben Sokol doesn't deviate off the boot. The Lions are roaring early in the decider.
Very clever play. They just kept the ball alive and Phelan chips it over the top. There's Sokol. Really clever player. Suddenly, it's a 20-point margin.
Been the most dangerous forward, hasn't he?
Delahunty also proving critical. Chris Phelan as well. And the early questions are being asked of West Perth after they dominated territorially, but just didn't seem to have the know-how to penetrate that Subiaco defence.
Bill Monahan, quick to react. He's got 2 players behind the ball. So if they win this stoppage, Subi will have numbers there too.
He's coming back to Lowry inside the set of circles. Interesting ball.
Tried to kick that a bit hard, Lowry.
And came up well short. Intercept mark taken by Rowe. And the Lions build through the middle of Optus Stadium. Munns defends Fivino pretty well. The Lion just runs out of room.
Problem is just for the moment they can't win the one-on-one, can they?
Might have to look at Andrew Strike just going further up the ground. He's playing at full forward. Litherland's very good at full back, maybe up around half forward just to get to that contest.
Just change up the mix. The shade to the sunlight. Horsley. Off a step. Almost a mark in the goal square. Munns retrieves it. Ready to swoop was Horsley. That's gone across the face, but they are looking awfully dangerous here. Subiaco in the dying stages of this opening quarter. And Clark arrives late. Gives away a free kick in the process.
Yeah, and it was really physical from Zach Clark. It was going to be a mark anyway, so that's just a free hit, really.
Problem for a coach in this situation, he can't change very much because he sold it all week. West Perth are just going to stick with this as long as they can, but they're
Holding the
falling
ball
behind.
Keitel wins it back now. They can use it. Manzoni providing the shepherding option. Kick missed the target though.
Switch.
And Litherland does just that. And Subiaco have seen out the danger, although Halligan had to stand, wait, protected the ball drop and gets away to the wing. Walters on the angle. Loads up. Dangerous time here for West Perth. Wheeler cleverly. Wayne Harms-like tap to Delahunty, and he pulled it too far across his body. A goal goes beckoning.
See, that was well crafted from Subi, wasn't it? A Wheeler again, his body on the line. Delahunty would be ruining 2 missed opportunities in the first quarter.
Better in the air at the moment too, Subiaco. Key forwards doing well.
West Perth missing some targets. Wilhelm to himself. Almost to the wing. Van Berlo. Lockyer at the back. Comes to DeLuca.
Wheeler.
The Lions starting to really press here. Hamilton worked off it. Off a step, a snap. And they've got another one. It's 4. They're queuing up now in this opening quarter.
It wasn't the best kick inside 50 from DeLuca. Had some options, but didn't put it to advantage. But they were good enough, Subiaco, just to get the ball to ground level. And there's good small forwards. They're always front and centre. Halligan's one of those.
He heads to the bench for a breather. Subiaco starting to flex their muscles here in the opening stages of this game. And Dennis did say West Perth a point as his prediction for the match, but at this stage, that's all they've got. Need some work to be done in that department, Den. Pearce plays off the hand pass and Kitchen wraps up Black.
They were so good for 15 minutes, West Perth.
Yes, they were.
But this is what Subi do. They are constant. They don't let up.
And you've got to get scoreboard pressure, and they didn't.
Joyce through the congestion. Meadows rides the bump, but they're coming for him hard. Clark did well in a tight situation. Tried to thread the hand pass through. Nothing is easy out there at the moment.
They're very good around the footy, Subi. They're hungry. Those midfielders, Horsley, Phelan, Kitchen, got a blood rule.
The captain calling desperately for some assistance from the boundary as Chris Phelan does come on for Joyce, trying to find what the blood's coming from.
Nelson's had 9 disposals. Black's had 8. Meadows 5 for Subiaco. Newton with 7. Horsley, Phelan, Road all with 6.
It's Kitchen who's nursing some issues.
Not surprised. His tackling's been very good, particularly.
Outstanding start by Subiaco. They lead by 27. Nearing quarter time. Pearce. Thumped back by Miller. Clark. DeLuca tracking it towards half forward. Couldn't take the ball, but he took the man down emphatically to make sure that Alexandre doesn't escape.
I mentioned the tackling. Chris Phelan has had 10. Sorry, Lee Kitchen, 10 in the first quarter. West Perth have had 19.
Wow. It's a huge discrepancy.
I've never seen 10 in a quarter before, ever.
Individually as well. That's just...
Used to take me a year to get that. It's not a joke, Bella. You played with me.
Oh, a great mark.
Paid? No.
That's been touched.
Has to have been. Delahunty, wow, that's a player in Fimino who was collected off the ball. West Perth get into the hands of King and now Manzoni. Good ball from Riddick. And Rudy arches the back. Missed the man by something. And Litherland played it well. Miller couldn't take it. Riddick rode the bump across to Chalmers. They've got numbers inside. And Rudy's in desperate trouble. But the siren sounds to put an exclamation mark on a wonderful first quarter by Subiaco. They were under pressure in the opening minutes, but they have responded as every good team does. They lead by 27 points. It's a huge week on 7 Sport. The grand final and the front bar is all part of it. Quarter time in the 2018 WAFL Grand Final, and Andrew Strike providing some early optimism for West Perth, some dash by the likes of Wilhelm and Keegan Knott. They couldn't hit the scoreboard in any meaningful way. The second half of that first quarter was certainly all Subiaco.
Look at that, 41 tackles to 20, and they've won a bit more ball than West Perth. Can I say again, Lee Kitchen, 10 tackles in the first quarter. I've not seen that in a game of AFL, WAFL, wherever you like. He has been unbelievable around the footy, and so costly, those misses from Strike, which was difficult, and Keegan Knott.
They took control, didn't they, Subiaco? Clearances 14-9. Handball receives. They are flowing through the contest like we know they do. 26 to 15 in that first quarter.
Sounds of the game. Here's Jared.
Well, we've been down this side and they've collapsed in. We could have got over the top of the bubble through the corridor. We don't want to give them our ball on being too greedy on it. But our ball move has been really good. I think we've made the right decisions, yeah? Okay, and it's allowed us to get, obviously, forward half pressure, all those things. Let's just make sure if we see it, look late, it's there. All right, you know when Wellham got us over the back? Yeah. That's been there a couple, that's what I was saying. We've had that numerous.
Jared Schofield really reinforcing what the message has been for Subiaco in that first quarter.
He'll be so thrilled. A good start, vital for Subi, and it took a while for them to break. There's Mark Hutchings there. Watching, well, I guess he'd be a West Perth man.
Yep, Simpson medalist in their last premiership.
Might have a job on steel side bottom next week.
Probably not wanting to think about that just yet, but it took them a long time to break West Perth in that quarter, 15 minutes, but they got there.
Here's Steve Butler with the coach of the Falcons.
Well, Bill, you were able to be able to get out a few times, but you weren't able to construct very clean passages to goal.
Yeah, look, I thought our first 15 or 20 minutes was okay. The clearance numbers were okay then, inside forward 50s. We just butchered a couple when we were out and didn't take our opportunities. And then, as we all know, they hurt us the other way. And even though they missed a couple, you know, they don't need many opportunities.
We all know Subi like to roll forward too. They got out the back of you a few times.
Yeah, look, that's why we thought we could hurt them back the other way, and it's a real catch-22. So, look, we'll continue to be positive. We've got nothing to lose, and hopefully we'll kick the ball better inside forward 50 this quarter.
Good luck turning it around.
Thank you.
All made sense to me.
Sound of resignation, though. Almost resigned to the fact it's going to be very tough from here.
Dan, I can hear your voice wavering. We don't need any of that. 27 points, nothing in modern footy. Second term is underway. Clark and Lowry into the hands of Phelan. Horsley. Meadows intervenes. Surrounded. Did get the release hand pass away. But Heel comfortably.
So important for them, Heel. Really solid. Tall, small, quick. Good ball user.
Kicks to a one-on-one. Ball fisted away from Sokol by King. Manzoni gives it some air. Knots outside. Riddick arrives to help out. Clark, though, sure hands. Back to Horsley in turn.
Oh,
They get it to Kennedy. Opportunity now for Strike to at least tie that ball up. Had Lockyer trapped.
had no intention of that ball being released. Lockyer, really clever play.
A lot of high balls going into Knott. Doesn't change that.
Doesn't quite make sense, does it?
No.
Clark directs it down again. Pierce, brilliant from the stoppage. What a wonderful snap for their first of the afternoon.
Mitchell Pearce, this is his natural habitat, really. In the heavy going, blicks his way out. That's a beautiful finish, too. Man who earned his spot. With a lot of reserves footy.
Just the start, the spark that West Perth required. Lowry, beaten to it by Clark. Here's the man in question. Just left it behind on this occasion. Meadows arrives in a hurry.
I reckon someone dragged that in. I reckon it's West Perth's kick.
Phelan, who has to give the ball back. Lowry. Thumping ball. Lockyer was there. Opportunity for Black. It sits for him, but he just couldn't get enough separation from the oncoming traffic.
This is their moment, I reckon, West Perth. Another goal, they're back into it, and they've got a little bit of momentum.
Litherland. Touch of bravado with that kick to Luke, who was there, and so too Newton. Off to Halligan. Metres of open space ahead. Just caresses it towards Wheeler. Takes it on the bounce. They have it at the 50. Phelan to the top of the square. Nervous moments here for the Falcons. Firmino, not quite. Lays it off. And Miller, by hand, around the body. Sokol, bending, but not quite enough.
He did it again, didn't he? So clever. Ben Sokol just released himself to get that handball receive. Doesn't get attracted to the footy. Nearly paid off. It was a good switch, wasn't it, from Litherland that set it up.
Pearce was the target. Ends up with Newton.
That's lucky.
And there's a bit of fortune attached to that, but Nancy Wheeler will take that every day of the week.
Halligan was very good, though, going back hard on his man on the outer side, getting the ball on the ground.
Been important. Sorry, Dan. Been important, Newton. It was a fortunate kick. There's Wheeler in space.
Nancy Wheeler. Such a stalwart of this Subiaco side. To get the immediate response. And the Lions do just that.
He only had 5 disposals against South Fremantle 2 weeks ago. He's already got 6. He's been important. Wheeler, 3 marks to go with that.
Delighted Clancy Wheeler. Restoring that margin of 28 points. Clark, brilliant in the air. Phelan and Horsley all collaborate inside the centre circles. All just gets away from Halligan. Somehow it comes back.
Right.
Not sure about the hand pass, but Delahunty trying to wool that ball back. Hits the post. But I'd like to see that disposal by Kyle Halligan.
Was it Halligan? I'm not sure what happened there. I thought he sort of threw it out there. Let's have a look. Oh, there's Delahunty's shot at goal. He's had 3 for no goals.
Munns off the left. Disposal questionable. Lockyer receives it from Heel. Pulls it across his body.
Great contest from Wheeler there.
Yeah, there are 2 West Perth players in the vicinity, but it was like 10-pin bowling.
He's moving well, Wheeler, isn't he? Timed his run beautifully.
Looking very dangerous down there.
Falcons having to absorb some more pressure in the 2018 grand final.
He's putting a shot, Clark.
Absolutely. And Halligan playing in front. Was it touched? Must have been.
Well, it's been paid a high contact free kick anyway. I couldn't see how that would have been touched off the ball.
Well, it seemed to be a case that the tackle came. If it wasn't touched,
well, maybe there, perhaps.
Scored it. He's around it. Must have heard a noise. What about the ruck work from Zach Clark?
Yeah.
Straight down. As the game goes on, he's only going to get better.
Well, the last centre bounce was an AFL ruckman opposed to a WAFL part-timer, with no disrespect intended. He's just putting it where the Subiaco midfielders wanted at the moment, Zach Clark.
Halligan, one of these smallish forwards who just thrives on getting these types of opportunities. And from 40 metres, there was no trouble whatsoever. He's got 2.
Textbook, copybook if you like. Clark hooking it down, Horsley breaking through the pack, and this is the finish from Hardigan. Rather Halligan.
Cunin into the ruck for West Perth.
Semblance of order about what we're seeing now. Clark, though, decisively. Cunin goes off the ground, straight into the arms of Lowry. Lockyer, as is his wont. And that was cleverly played by Miller. Just ensure the arms are hooked around his waist. And they reload.
Look at Horsley.
Litherland looks for the captain on the stretch. He's got Firmino further afield. Plenty of hang time with that kick. Front on contact, though, as good as Meadows was, umpire left with little alternative.
We've slowed him down a little bit, Meadows, that free kick.
Plenty of patrons enjoying this gorgeous Sunday afternoon in the sunshine. Munns, King, and West Perth find a way out. Interesting kick through the middle.
Good mark.
Terrific effort. Van Berlo really rushing that ball, and Litherland, the master of not.
Monahan, he's moved strike into the back line. He's playing as a spare man at the moment, so no forwards to kick to right now.
Phelan eases it towards the middle. Firmino on the half volley. Over the top came King.
He was actually taken high, but the umpire was completely blindsided.
Absolutely. And as a result, Manzoni receives it from West. Black has to take this. He's got 3 Lions around him. And the numbers prevail. Phelan to Waters. A juggle. Somehow, just free to Phelan.
Sokol's out.
And that's exactly where the ball is heading. At the 50 and well within his range.
At the other end, when it went 1-on-3, Riddick was out by himself about 20 metres away. Just need to concentrate on where it's going. Did you kick when you had more time to take it?
They had 2 out the back, didn't they? And Netherland left his opponent, affected the spoil, forced the turnover.
Here's Sokol. Just veers to his right to give himself some extra metres. He does get the journey, but always across to the right. In the blink of an eye, it's West Perth on the ropes here. Meadows. Pearce, a slip. If it's kept alive, Subiaco could advance again, but not to be. So Subiaco's just imposing themselves the further this game goes. And Zach Clark been dominant. DeLuca, Horsley, almost to the 50. And at West Perth to the wing as we head downstairs to Aaron Black, who's been kind enough to give us a couple of his moments. Aaron, Subiaco's pressure has been relentless, but you are showing signs of restoring some order in this second quarter.
Yeah, mate, I think we've done a really good job, but to be honest with you, we've had probably pretty similar forward 50 entries in the first quarter. You know, they might have got on top of us a little bit now, but our pressure's been pretty good. We've just got to get more reward going back the other way.
What was the plan against Zach Clark coming in? He's had some good ruck taps.
I read it off his hands a little more, I guess. You know, we worry about the ball when it's on the deck and try and read what he's doing. But I think Koonsnell's doing a pretty good job of at least halving those. We've just got to do a better job of not over-committing, getting too many guys to the fall of the ball, because they spread really well, obviously.
Aaron, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. He's working his backside off this afternoon to try and keep the Falcons in the contest. Trial by 36. Heel works his way to the front, knocks it away from Lowry, and Pearce sends it over the line. There's the vast crowd that's arrived at Optus Stadium. The shade being preferred to the sun by many. DeLuca, important little toe poke in there. Comes to Fimino. Just got the hand pass away. Kennedy inside 50, and this man Sokol is providing a real headache or two for the West Perth defence.
He's been dominant, 5 marks, 1 goal, 3. Hasn't had his kicking boots on, but he just reads it so well in the air. Really good set of hands.
This about 15 metres closer to goal, similar angle. It shouldn't present too many problems for the Subiaco sharpshooter. Never looked like missing.
Reacted quickly to the footy, took the mark. 4 goals in last year's grand final. He's proving more than a handful for the Falcons' defence at the moment. A player who backs himself to go and get it, but finds himself easily lost at times too. Not in the sense that he's lost, but he gets free.
42 points that margin. Meadows. Horsley sliding in. DeLuca, a scrambler. Clark charges out clean by hand across to Wheeler. And finally some respite for the West Perth defence. Wilhelm, tricky, fluky bouncing ball. Kennedy, release was great for Leatherland, who rode the pressure from Chalmers. Miller involved, so too Rode. They have it at half forward. Kitchen cruising past. Forget the tackles. He's got one himself to contend with here, Belly. And he pays the price.
Well, he's saying he handballed it. Will be the judge. No, he did not.
Umpire had it spot on. Meadows. Need a lift from so many players Falcons to stay in touch here. West. Miller with the fist on it. So well drilled, aren't they? Back to Miller. Off the left. Comfortable for Powell. Horsley skirts by. And Clark.
What a kick.
Outstanding ball. It was on a platter.
Nothing Hamilton could do there.
Would have hurt his finger there, Big Zach.
Yeah, he doesn't want to. I'm sure he's confident with this, and he's definitely got some sort of finger problem there.
His first half has been outstanding. Disposals only 7, but what he's done in the ruck, that ball with a helicopter motion about it, right to the goal line.
Yeah, he's running from the ground. He's got a left finger issue, maybe a dislocation or maybe a cut. He's going to have attended. We'll get Steve Butler onto that.
Hamilton lost to Black, wasn't perhaps aware that was heading his way. And Meadows lost his footing at the critical moment. Firmino deemed a throw. Subiaco's surge is just halted momentarily.
Real dangerous time now, isn't it, for West Perth?
Hamilton's ball in the Keitel direction. It leaks out the back. Strike, backtracking, and Van Berlo. There's the full brunt of a Angus Litherland, hip and shoulder.
He's a ripper, Angus Litherland. Just so tough to earn a kick on. He peels off his player whenever necessary, his direct opponent, and make sure that the opposition have to really earn any inside 50.
The second day in a row, looks like the team in red and blue struggling to put some clean football together. King held too long in the tackle. It'll be coming back, and that should be a 50-metre penalty. Steve Butler has an update from downstairs.
Yeah, Zach Clark's actually just gone down the race. He's got some problem with that left hand. The Subiaco doctor's been pretty busy. He's done a fair job patching up Lee Kitchen's head again too.
Riddick, full-chested, across to Wilhelm. Once again, as Dennis pointed out, Keegan not the player ideally you'd like for that type of ball. Subiaco with little.
That's 50. It has to be 50. That's going to end up being a goal
from Black, but
look at the Subiaco play. What is that umpire doing?
And the explanation comes not to their satisfaction.
Yeah, so Aaron Black into the protected area. The umpire's going to say, oh, well, you come off your line, but Aaron Black ran straight through the protected area. That is why the rule is in play, but luck's a fortune, goal West Perth.
Not a huge fan of the rule, Den, myself, but that was a case in point where it should have been applied.
Oh, clear cut, yes, as the rules stand.
They might be changing over the summer. Clearance win for Subiaco. DeLuca feeds Newton. Almost to Wheeler. He may have been held in the process as well. Sokol, Firmino all in the vicinity.
I think he was.
Van Berlo on the stretch. And a bit of slipping and sliding by players on that part of the ground.
Down the ground.
Received some treatment.
So important for West Perth here to capitalise on the good fortune.
Down by 37. Strike. Nudged out of that contest legally. And Heel. Now Subiaco to change the look. Almost on the full, but not to be. West Perth continued to attack. Manzoni ran straight into trouble in the form of Joyce. Margin 37. Falcons would love to get that back to a 5-goal manageable margin at the long break. They have it inside their attacking 50, albeit momentarily perhaps. West went to ground. Kick by Gordon and Chalmers. At the ball drop, right spot, right place. Only 25 out.
He was surrounded, wasn't he? Very lucky, but they'll take it.
Corey Chalmers. A couple of things have gone West Perth's way in the last few minutes. They simply must capitalise. Using all of his allocated 30 seconds. Here's Chalmers. That's what's confronting him.
Oh.
Always away to the right.
You just need everything to go their way, West Perth, including your conversion.
And the player knows we need this goal, so the pressure is heightened.
He's usually pretty reliable, Corey Chalmers.
Yeah.
36 points, the deficit for West Perth. Keitel and Meadows into the path of Shannon. It sits just inside the line. Van Berlo concedes some ground. Hamilton, but Walters, wonderful. Great tackle, turnover, Kitchen, and it could go all the way with Wheeler. Well, a push out by the non-controlling umpire who was 60 metres away.
But why not let them play on?
Well,
they were out.
How the umpire 10 metres away
didn't pay it.
Didn't pay it.
So now they're out. So just call play on.
No argument from this side of the desk.
It's a good kick too.
Yet there's a couple in the vicinity, although
it's in the
Delahunty. And Cunard's gone down with an ankle here. He's in a little bit of distress. Big ruckman.
Just going back to that last incident, which umpire is designated to call play on? The one who didn't make a decision or the one that did?
Taking out the legs.
Well, that is where it is a free kick and should be a free kick.
Has recovered well enough to take the kick. Lowry slides in. Heel wins it at the coalface. Across to Phelan. Puts it 20 out. Oh, wonderful protection of the ball dropped by Sokol. It's a clinic inside 50 by him in this second quarter.
Big game player.
Big game player. He's causing Ben King a lot of problems at the moment. 2-3 on the board in a first half of the grand final.
And just looking at him, you know it'd be a heavy body to move, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's strong through the core.
Could have had a day out, Ben Sokol, in the first half. Still, with 3 next to his name, it's going from good to better.
There's the inside 50, and Sokol just plants the feet. Just loses contact with him, doesn't he, King? And there's 3 goals. 3 points as well for Ben Sokol, the dominant forward on the ground.
Keeps that margin at a very healthy level for Subiaco. Horsley almost to the 50. Sokol this time out.
Yeah, well done.
Pointed. It was Mills on this occasion. Awkward ball for not to control. Nelson hands it off to West with some space to create. And some miscommunication with Strike, who wasn't at full tilt when that ball was heading his way. Intercepted by Heel. Across to Clark. At D50. Intercepted by Nelson. Down the line. Inadvertently, there's a trip.
Free kick, West Perth.
In fact, it's a hold, as it's been deemed by the umpire.
Against Clark.
Andrew Strike. Trying to thread this path down the line. Not. And that was ambitious, to say the least, Dennis, from that pocket.
Well, that's his role, isn't it? Getting to the packs and taking it off hands. He does that very well. He's very good around goals, but the high ball has been the thing that has sort of sought him out for the best part of the afternoon from his teammates.
Been curious, hasn't it, the way they've delivered to him on occasion. And Sokol up the ground to Kitchen. It's all methodical here. Halligan forward of the wing. Ball was touched in flight, but matters naught because Litherland, the outside of his boot.
Did he mean that? It was amazing, wasn't it?
Extraordinary the way he just fashioned that footy.
So it's sort of almost like a banana off the outside of his foot. Really clever. Have a look at this. Yeah, spots him. Little banana, little dinky banana. Really clever.
Looks a Gaelic football type manoeuvre.
Little pokey kick.
Chris Phelan had some knee issues over his career, but he is on the top shelf in the WAFL when it comes to midfielders. He knew as soon as he hit that, it was well off mark.
Well, going for the distance, he got way too close to the man on the mark.
West Perth here, trying to stem the flow. Meadows heads back to a central spot. Pearce is there, called out of it by Nelson. And the kick on Keitel was affected by a push. Riddick's in the vicinity. Lockyer off the outside of the boot by Rudy. Idea was okay, but the execution not quite.
It's a good chase, wasn't it? I sometimes think that they should be paid pushes in the back when they affect a kick like that.
Really are. The captain, driving ball.
Good mark.
Yeah, terrific hands by Shannon, and it's held on to momentarily by Powell. These wide balls make it really tough for the West Perth forwards. Strike goes to ground again, and that's out the full Manzoni. Any thoughts on that?
I thought he was a bit stiff, Strike.
Oh, dangerous inside pass. Nelson destroys. And he looked to lay off the hand pass, brilliantly intercepted by Road, and now it's Waters. What a pass!
What
Didn't
a
have
kick.
to break stride. Halligan's in the forward 50 and takes the mark.
What a kick to Waters. Because if that misses, it's coming back with interest.
Drew Road, that was a spectacular piece of ball gathering, and then the finish. Outstanding.
That takes the oxygen out of West Perth during half-time, that type of play.
And this will be for Halligan's third as well.
Just a snapshot of what Subiaco has done all year. They have made life a misery for the rest of the competition. And that's a floater, but it's fantastic because it's gone right through the middle.
It's fair to say the finish didn't equal the build-up with that kick. But it's dead centre, and that's all they need to do. 62 plays 15. It's a long way back for the West Perth team now. One wonders what they could change up at half-time too. There's not much to fiddle with because they're being beaten comprehensively.
All the numbers starting to stack up in Subiaco's favour. Getting a little ugly on the scoreboard as well, where it really counts. And Litherland up the ground to Luca. He's starting to enjoy this. Alexandre just knocks it away from the congestion. A bit like yesterday at this venue at half-time, the margin was such that a different feel goes around the ground.
As you said, Mark, not a good weekend so far for Red and the Blue.
Norwood are playing this afternoon.
In the SANFL, of course. Let's feel it. Just a measured ball inside 50. They continue to press. Munns, Sokol, one of two tacklers there.
They're all on the same page, though, aren't they? Trying to knock it on. They know where it's going. Those swoopers around the packs. They've been very dangerous.
It's a trademark for modern footy. 1%ers keep the ball moving in your direction. Black and Fimino has a strong hold on him. Of course, coming up at 6 tonight, 7 News, all the latest on the West Coast Eagles and the build-up to the 2018 Grand Final against Collingwood. Ball's in dispute just outside the 50 for Subiaco. Shannon, a fumble. Lockyer, a long way up the ground. It's messy footy in there. It's pinballing around with no real hope of it coming out, although the umpire's intent on making them earn it. But the mercy comes in the form of the half-time siren. No real surprise, Subiaco dominating this game, but in that quarter, they showed exactly why they are unbeaten through 19 and a half games of football. 9-8 to 2-3. That margin is 47 points on this magnificent spring afternoon. The Lions have won the Colts. They've won the reserves, and the league not far away either.
They've been terrific. One wonders what Bill Monahan can say to his players at half-time. It's a very hard task, that one, because they know in their own hearts that this one has almost slipped away. 9-8 to 2-3 at half-time, but really it's more the way it's been played.
Here's Sue Butler with one of the stars of Subiaco's forward line.
Yeah, got Ben Sokol here. Had a great first half, and Ben, you really had to open him up a little bit there, and organise a pretty good lead.
Yeah, everyone's done their job, so yeah, sort of keep fighting, hang on, and yeah, keep pushing for the next half.
You kicked 3 goals, 3 yourself. You're able to find yourself a little bit of space out the back there.
Yeah, it's been good, getting up hard and then yeah, getting it back on the outside. So fingers crossed and keep it going.
Could be a pretty special day for the club the way it keeps going like this.
Mate, fingers crossed, 3 goals, be unbelievable. So yeah, keep working, we'll get it.
Great first half, mate. Good luck the second half. Over to you, Paul Hazelby.
Shane Nelson, what do you make of the first half? They were pretty dominant, but you did get some opportunities inside 50.
Yeah, no, they're a great side. Obviously, haven't lost a game all year, and we came with the intensity early, but you know, they got on top that second quarter definitely, and you know, we got to be better than that.
And what do you think the message will be from the coach?
Oh, look, we just keep doing the things that have made us a good side throughout the year, and yeah, hopefully we can turn things around a bit and yeah, hit the scoreboard a bit more. We haven't plenty inside 50s, but just can't capitalise at the moment.
Thanks, Shane. Good luck for the second half.
There they are, Shane Nelson and, of course, Ben Sokol with 3 goals next to his name. It's a 47-point lead in the 2018 WAFL Grand Final. Big crowd here at Optus Stadium for Macca's Match Day. It's the Optus halftime show from Optus Stadium in the 2018 WAFL Grand Final. Subiaco, unbeaten through the year, have taken control of this one in the first half, leading by 47 points. Chris Phelan had some friends in the forward line. Ben Sokol really finding his mojo in that opening half. Great to have your company on the Optus halftime show. A lot of work for West Perth to be done here, Peter Bell, to get back into the contest.
Yeah, not really sure how they're going to do that. It just becomes a really simple formula. Try and win centre clearances, try and get it into your half of the ground and hope that Andrew Strike and Tyler Keitel can take a mark. As we have a look at the stats there, Halligan and Sokol, they have feasted on the abundance of ball that the Subiaco midfielders have been propelling into their 50, including Horsley with 17 and Phelan's up there as well. And not only have they dominated possession, they've dominated tackles as well, 56 to 34. You see there also hit-outs, 33 to 9. Zach Clark has been dominant, 27 hit-outs. We don't have the stat hit-outs to advantage, but most of them, it would seem, have been to advantage.
Inside 50s, 31 to 24 favour Subiaco, so that's not their biggest concern, but the quality once they get the ball into the hands, in this case, of Chris Phelan, shows that they do have that excellence.
Well, that was the first goal of the game. Phelan's had a terrific first half. There's Reece Waters from outside 50. He's come back into the side after playing last week in the reserves. But they are just so strong around the footy. Phelan, clever player. Sokol, that ability to just reverse back towards the goals and find space. He's kicked 3 goals, 3, I think. I mentioned Halligan with 3 goals as well. And you would think that a couple of those Subiaco forwards are going to kick a huge tally today. It's clever play there from Halligan. West Perth had their moments in that second quarter. One of them by virtue of a non-decision from the umpire. Aaron Black kicked a goal. There's a goal there as well. Their first to Pearce. They've won a lot of ball, the West Perth guys. The usual names: Black, Nelson, Pearce, Meadows as well. But this man, Ben Sokol, clean hands and really good conversion.
Yes, a 5-goal second quarter. They led by 27 at quarter time. And this was the controversial, contentious non-decision by the umpire.
It's just run straight through the mark, Aaron Black. Look, a pretty blatant free kick to me. West Perth get a goal out of it.
It won't matter in the context of
it's going to make a big difference in the
this
afternoon's match.
Again, Sokol, just the ability to protect the ball drop, and we know his finishing is A grade, and Subiaco enjoying that 47-point lead here at halftime. Terrific crowd, great weather, and Subiaco looking to become the first team to win the Colts, the reserves, and the league. They are an extraordinary football
If you
club.
hate Subi, it's not a good day for you.
Absolutely, no fairy tale at this stage for West Perth. Chris Phelan, we talked about his ball-winning ability and what he adds to this midfield mix for Subiaco.
Yeah, he is. He's the silk, but he's got some grunt work about him as well. He's had some issues with those knees, I suppose, but look at that. That's a big first half, isn't it? 16 disposals. He's kicked a goal as well, and his score assist would be right up there. Again, don't have that stat at hand, but he has set up numerous scoring opportunities for Subi.
Yes, Chris Phelan didn't quite nail that shot on goal, but he's been terrific. And of course, Paul Hazelby, one of the judges for the Simpson medal, will be casting an eye at this stage on a few Subiaco
running.
Absolutely, no question about that. The Subiaco rooms would be calm, composed, and in a pretty good place given the scoreline, 47 points. They are well placed to win this premiership. Huge time in the AFL Grand Final week, and of course we've got Talking Footy on Wednesday night featuring Adam Simpson and Nathan Buckley. showcasing the best of WAFL football today at Optus Stadium. And what joy for Subiaco in the Colts. Peter Bell, you were part of this coverage earlier today. It was a nail-biter in that last quarter.
It was a great game. Could have gone either way. In the end, it was Subiaco who emerged victorious, and the Mel Winnan medalist M&J player of the day was Tristan Hobley. As well, he had 28 disposals, 6 contested. He's been just a ball-winning machine at Colts level this year, so well done to Tristan Hobley and his Subiaco teammates.
On a broader level, what we saw today with the Colts, there were lots of AFL scouts in the crowd, watching some of these young players that may one day make their way onto an AFL list.
Yeah, there was a lot of young talent out there. I thought Farron for Swan District showed a bit. The Hickmott boys at Subiaco, Jared Schofield, the lead coach, his son Taj Schofield showed he was a real neat user of the footy. There's Mitch Georgiades. Martin kicked a number of goals as well. It was a lot of talent on display and exciting times for a lot of those players. Jared Cameron, the brother of Charlie Cameron, he kicked a couple of goals. That man Deng also amongst the goal scorers for Swans. Really exciting game, really open footy. It was a pleasure to be here, and a very narrow margin in the end for Subiaco.
And of course, part of the mantra in the underage or the Colts footy is to keep the ball moving and maybe a more attacking brand, is that right?
That's right, almost like starting positions as well. You've got to have a number of people inside forward 50. And look, there was a little bit of controversy late as to Subiaco perhaps getting a few players behind the ball. I don't know exactly what happened. There are guidelines in place as to the spirit of the way they want Colts football to be played. And there was a little bit of, as I said before, controversy about the starting positions of a couple of Subiaco players late in the contest.
Yes, Subiaco had to hold on. The prospect of extra time came into the equation, but they held on to win by 2 points. Celebrations have started already for the Colts team. 9-10 to 9-8. It goes without saying it was a tight match throughout. You would have seen that on 7 Sport with Glenn Mitchell, Peter Bell and the team calling all the action, and so much to like about what Subiaco have done on all 3 grades today. You'd think West Perth in trouble at half-time, trailing by 47 points. We mentioned the Colts grand final and the M&J Chickens player of the day. Also,
the Mel Winnan medalist, the great man Mel was there, and young Tristan Hobley. It was. We mentioned him before, but I think it was Xavier Ellis or maybe Mick Ablett, the Western Australian Footy Commission high performance manager, young talent sort of pathways manager, who likened him to Andrew Gaff just for his running ability to get to contests, constant running. He was a worthy winner today, a prolific ball winner.
Yes, keep your name and eye out for Tristan Hobley, who's going to be a player of the future. Colts started at about 11:40 this morning, bright and early for the reserves, but again, Subiaco have been the constant.
Yeah, and this was a terrific match. Also, Borchet or Borchette, I think he prefers. I think we've given him the French pronunciation. He kicked 3 goals, took a ripper mark as well. Stevenson's, who's an experienced player. Adam Cockey, 27 disposals. And Dobson for East Perth was typically tough around the footy.
2 out of 3, not bad for Subiaco so far. They lead by 47 points. Some work to be done in the Falcons' rooms as they contemplate how they can get themselves back into this grand final at Optus Stadium. The Optus halftime show, and the second half is not far away. Great to have your company on the Optus halftime show from the WAFL Grand Final. Subiaco leading West Perth by 47 points, taking control of the contest in that second quarter. 5 goals in total, and the gap seems too big a bridge to pass for the Falcons at the half-time break. Great to have your company on 7 Sport. And of course, what we've seen this year, some great marks and goals of the year. Peter Bell, we've got some special presentations to make, and Steve Butler is downstairs to do just that now.
Yes, I've got Tony Knott here from the Swan Districts Footy Club and Ian Juster from Kia Motors Australia, and I think it's pretty easy to say now that a bloke who's made a bit of a footy living taking hangers, Tony Knott, you've won our mark of the year, Tony. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's become something you've done pretty regular. I can't believe you haven't won it before.
Yeah, I've been trying for a few years now, and obviously to get it is really good. And you know, Liam Ryan going out of the system last year, he gave me the chance this year, so it's nice.
Well, it was a round 9 hanger that we've seen on the screen here a few times. You had the crowd ahhing and oohing a few minutes ago, but here we go now. If you look at the screen, just take us through it, Tony.
Yeah, it was pretty nice out in front of the cam bar. We had a good crowd out there, and it just sat real nicely. And lucky one of the boys was sitting right under it. Happy enough to bring it down.
boys at the Cambo would love that too, wouldn't they?
Oh, mate, they love everything. They're a different crew out there, the Swans, and we love them. And, yeah.
And Ian, Kia Motors Australia is obviously proud to be a sponsor of WA Footy here too.
Well, it's fantastic to be part of WA Footy. It's all about Tony's mark, though, here today. We're really happy to be able to present him his award. But, yeah, it's great to be involved in WA Footy. The Kia dealers love it.
You got a beautiful $5,000 cheque there for Tony. Go for it.
On behalf of Kia Motors Australia, here's your cheque for $5,000. Well done. Congratulations.
Congrats, Tony, and well done. We'll go back to you, boys.
Thank you, Steve, and congratulations to Tony Knott, who has made a career out of taking big hangers.
Hasn't he, what? Got a beautiful set of hands, big leap as well. There were some terrific marks, and thanks, of course, to Kia. My favourite there was, well, Tony's, but also I thought Brendan Archie's mark was fantastic for East Perth.
The standard was from the top shelf in 2018. Well, we've seen the best mark of the year, thanks to Kia. Let's head downstairs. Steve Butler, we're about to reveal our best goal for 2018, thanks to Tap Touch.
Yes, the goal of the year winner also comes from Swan Districts. It's Mitchell Bain. He limped over here to us because he's played in the Colts Grand Final today. Mitchell, congratulations, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
And we've also got Michael Saunders from Tab Touch, and a very strong supporter of the industry, Michael.
Look, we're made in WA, Butts, as you know, and everything we do is for WA, and WA loves footy, so really proud to sponsor the WAFL and the goal of the year. What a great goal it was. Bit of run, how many bounces? 6 or so. So well done, Mitch, and yeah, really great prize.
Well, here it is, Mitch. Take us through it, mate.
I just looked up and I saw no one, so I just decided to run.
How many bounces here?
That's 4, 3, and I ended up with 6. And I decided to go all the way and just, keep the goal.
Looks like the eyes are pretty wide there, mate.
Yeah, I was pretty gassed when I kicked the goal. Not sure if I was going to make distance.
Well, that is an absolutely super goal, Mitchell. Congratulations again on making the grand final today. And Michael, if you don't mind doing the honours.
Well done, great goal.
Thanks very much, guys. Back to you.
Congratulations to Mitch, and thanks to Tab Touch for their wonderful support. Ever kick a goal after bouncing 5 or 6 times?
Absolutely not, no, never.
We'll leave it at that. Second half coming up, the Optus halftime show. 47 points is the lead to Subiaco. What a beautiful sight, Optus Stadium from above. And spring has hit WA emphatically yesterday and today, mid-20s. Terrific crowd really rolling through the doors here today as well. So you'd expect in excess of 85,000 people visiting Optus Stadium over the space of 24 hours. It's a 47-point lead to Subiaco. It's a long way back, needless to say. Dennis, West Perth need to dig into that deficit pretty early in this quarter.
Well, yesterday at halftime, Melbourne had no goals, so West Perth ahead of the game there. Sokol, though, has been terrific up forward with 3 goals. Horsley, 17 possessions, and Clark dominating the ruck. Those 3 guys have been impossible for West Perth to counter. Not sure what they can do in the second half. Just do their best, do their job, and see how it goes. But you would think Subiaco will be hard to reel in. Almost impossible from this point, but you never know.
They need to get their forwards involved, don't they? Andrew Strike very quiet in that first half. Keegan Knott only 3 touches as well. And Tyler Keitel, the other one with 5. So they just need to lower their vision on occasions, try and find that free play. A lot of bombing inside the forward 50 going on at the moment from West Perth.
Yeah, 2 points for those 3 forwards, West Perth forwards. And that's because the Subi defence have been magnificent. They had 24 inside 50s, West Perth, which is not a lot, but it's not dire. So they need to do more and use the ball a bit better.
Beautiful day to be a field commentator. Steve Butler's downstairs.
It's a lovely day, all right, but it's a busy day for the Subiaco doctor. As I said earlier, he's just telling me that Zach Clark cut his index finger almost down to the tendon, so he had to take him down and get that fixed up. And just when he thought he got rid of Lee Kitchen with 1 cut above his eye, he came off with a cut above the other one too. So not going too well, but typically putting his head over the footy, Lee Kitchen.
I'd suggest if the result stays where it is, those wounds will be insignificant come 6 o'clock tonight. Zach Clark. Terrific first half. He's opposed to Lowry to get us underway in the third quarter with the Lions chasing a perfect season in the WAFL. Lowry first hands on it. Horsley was momentarily retarded. There's Nelson and intercept Rowe. So well set up, Subiaco's defence.
He's the spare behind the ball.
Clark. Been impeded by Alexandre. There's Horsley. And they start to get rolling through Clark. That's Greg Clark onto the chest of Waters. Timely return. Gee, risky ball. It turned out to be just that. Strike. Getting very wide. Keitel hasn't really been a factor so far this afternoon.
Lockyer, another one of those Subiaco defenders I was speaking about, have done a brilliant job, not only covering their own man, but peeling off or attacking the footy and covering their teammates' man.
Just forward of the wing. Clark with the reach over the top.
Oh,
wow. He was on his knees. I'm not sure there was a lot of malice in that, but now it starts to escalate.
Black at the base of that.
And West Perth just trying to impose themselves at the start of this third quarter. Rowe. Another lateral ball. And Heel.
Look at the run of Kitchen here.
Litherland finds him now.
A real confidence with guys who have played together a lot, isn't there? And Subiaco have got it in spades.
Ball intended for Sokol. Wilhelm with a fist on it. He's hoping for and finds the boundary.
Good work from Wilhelm, just getting into the space of Ben Sokol. There's a big gap to work and lead into. He's able to get into that dangerous position.
40 metres around. Subiaco attacking to the right in this third quarter. Van Berlo. Ball gets out of his grasp. Heel taken high in that contest. Clark wants to take the advantage.
Coming back to Heel for a high tackle on Jay Van Berlo. West Perth get a chance to really set up, get heaps of numbers in their defensive 50. Heel may even try and go around the perimeter here, so go forwards.
Any instructions, do you think, from Jared Schofield to maybe just slow the tempo of this game by any means?
When the time's right. Their foot on the West Perth throat, though.
Manzoni out the back door. And no room for Wood to operate.
And Lowry's got the same job he had at the start of the game, trying to blunt Clark. The Bulls secondary, I think, in this, just to try and keep Clark away from dominating.
See what unfolds here. Clark went over the top. Powell back to Horsley. Shut down immediately. Meadows bustles his way through. Speaking of which, there's Riddick. Manzoni almost to the wing. Litherland over the top of Cunin. Playing his last game this afternoon, irrespective of the result. Chris Cunin.
Impressive jump that time by Litherland.
And he hasn't won a lot of footy, but I reckon he's been one of the most influential players on the ground as well. Not to try and influence to those who are adjudicating the best on the ground.
Now there's a Subiaco player down off the ball. And Rowe just gets up.
Keitel, who the Subi players are remonstrating with.
Not sure what the incident was. Here we go.
Not too much in it. Went to throw a little punch. Got a bit of shoulder in there as well.
So it's going back inside the 50. And DeLuca in the right spot. Tracks it back to the 50. Powell is in desperate trouble. Got boot to ball. Umpire had the whistle in his mouth. Miller. Some real zest with that attack on the footy. From 55. Gets some purchase. But Hamilton's hand in the way.
Well, I don't know what Miller was thinking there. He had Waters and Delahunty as well in space, and that would infuriate Jared Schofield. Exactly what you don't want to see with a lead in the third quarter, to be thinking of yourself.
I wouldn't be surprised if he drags him. Send a message.
Subiaco, though, unrelenting here. Kennedy to the pocket. Horsley. Halligan dropped the mark, but the captain off the left. That's ridiculous.
I don't think Jordan Mills would want to see this again. You can't buy it that side. You have to go back towards the middle, try and take him towards the middle, that fella.
Well, he wanted to get back on his left foot, didn't he, Dan?
Yeah.
So if he can beat you on the boundary side, kick a ball on the right foot for a goal, so be it. Don't let him step you back onto the inside.
And he's only got a left foot, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
He's the right too often. What a player.
Errant bounced by the umpire, but they...
Here he is again.
Continue to go. Clark was involved. Horsley with another disposal. Clean bowl, Sokol. Hamilton Toe pokes it out of danger, maybe high contact.
Yeah, he got taken high early. The umpire didn't see it. He got taken high definitely early.
100 metres away, we could see it. So it's questionable why the man in green didn't.
We do have the bird's eye view, though.
Well, no, that wasn't the view I was looking at.
We are very good.
That's true.
It's more to the point.
Irrespective, it's a ball up. Pierce. Strike surrounded here. Riddick, one fend off, back to strike. Heads down the line. And Keitel, well, Lockyer, he has been a standout for Subiaco for some time now in that role.
Monahan has just made a slight change with Andrew Strike, put him up closer to the midfield, giving him the option to go into stoppages, but also playing a bit around half forward.
Lowry still having to concede to Clark. Shannon, and the ball on the wing, is locked up.
It's a dangerous matchup, isn't it? Wheeler, I think it's on King. He's a much shorter player with all of the forward 50 to work in.
Pressure by West Perth around this stoppage, but they give it straight up. Kennedy, high ball. Delahunty came from 3 deep. Black with a quick release. Smother, though, was outstanding, and so West Perth under pressure again. Lowry goes to ground. Pierce wins it. He too can't find any space, and now they get some. And finally, give Keitel a decent look, although Lockyer in the way again. And Subi find a way through. Walters, despite a fumble, has ample time. It's a question, will they pull the trigger through the middle or go to Wheeler, who is the most obvious target?
So methodical. No leer about them at all. Just doing what they always do.
Did that well, Hamilton. Got it out of bounds.
Question, how long could this, even though they were beaten by Peel in the last 2 grand finals, any sign of this Subiaco juggernaut slowing down?
They've lost a lot of good players over the last 2 seasons, but they still find a way. They have a system. They come in. They love what Schofield's been able to do with a lot of those youngsters. They fill a position. So I can see them going on for 2 to 3 more years.
I think a lot would depend on Jared Schofield's plans, but he has set up a system at the club so well that someone else could come in and probably do a pretty similar sort of job.
Oh, good mark.
Road, yes, there was bodies coming from all directions on that occasion. Lockyer's peeled off, and Delahunty, gee, gets some acceleration. Over the top he heads, and just starting to cut their way through this West Perth midfield and do it with ease. And Walters is camped in front. Clark!
Good mark, wasn't it?
Wonderful effort over the top. And Zach Clark, with his eye on a premiership medallion tonight, but also perhaps down the track returning to the AFL.
Terrific run and jump. He seems to have that athleticism back. Had a lot of problems with the knee, but at 27 or 28 years of age, he's got a bit to offer, you would think.
Safe to say that Zach is back. The Lions extend.
A good AFL career, had a choice between Subiaco and Perth. My understanding is Perth was runner-up for his services. Comes to Subi. He's having a great day today. 33 hit-outs, 7 to advantage, 9 disposals and a goal.
Don't tell me that now.
It hurts, doesn't it?
It's every other club in the competition. Such as the strength and depth of this football club. Walters went high, but there was some intent with that hit, tackle, call it what you like, on Connor West.
That's like a lot of things in world sport at the moment, isn't it? Success attracts good players.
Absolutely. Black off a step. Goes right, and in fact misses the lot. He's Lockyer through the goal square, ambling his way out of defence. Fimino in his sights. Perfectly weighted ball. And so the Subiaco machine starts to roll again. Kitchen uses to Luca. Back to Kitchen. Edge to the wing, but too much carry on the kick for Newton. Ends up with Wilhelm. And Hamilton spots West in the middle. It's past the lunging Kennedy. And Keitel, two to confront here, including Lockyer. Well, the Subiaco defender, absolutely outstanding in that passage. The ball doesn't quite get to the intended target in Delahunty, but he wins it just inside the line. Munn's over the top. And West Perth, after looking dangerous in the opening 10 minutes of this game, have really found out the hard way about this Subiaco side.
Just Subi's ability to pick off the West Perth inside 50 has been the story of the afternoon for me. They've had 27 inside 50s, West Perth, but Lockyer, Litherland, they've been really good.
Yep, add Heel and
Road.
There's a lot to like about this Subiaco defence. It's a good starting point for Jared Schofield at selection. Wilhelm, initial.
They're out here. Here's a goal.
Delahunty robbed him of the footy, and Halligan with a lime green boots, shining on the big stage with 4.
And this is what you want your team to do in a third quarter, dominant in a grand final. Still do the team thing. Delahunty passes the ball off to Halligan's 4th. I think that's what Schofield would have wanted from Miller earlier in this quarter.
It's been a stunning display by Subiaco. We're not surprised, but in awe of what they continually do in this competition. Phelan's kick was smothered. Ends up with Nelson. Knott's been quiet today. And he's harassed by Miller right to the boundary line.
Clancy Wheeler getting some treatment there. He's been important, particularly early. Took a couple of big clunks, contested marks. Really clever player. Delahunty and Cunin here in the ruck.
Cunin caught behind. Nelson reaching for it. DeLuca snatches it. Spiral. Waters couldn't take it. And Mills, or Sokol, with that vice-like grip. Such an attribute when a forward can go up the ground and create some damage himself. Meadows and Horsley. Fibino over the top. Dives over the top of sets of arms and legs.
Zach Clark having it spelled deep forward as opposed to Hamilton.
A hush has gone over Optus Stadium. Very quiet. I guess the scoreline dictates that. Nelson's kick partially smothered. Manzoni, there's no way out of that scenario for him. A terrific day by the WAFL. We had the Rubens as pre-game entertainment. A couple of tight games, the Colts and the reserves. And a Subiaco side that's intent on creating a piece of history this afternoon in the league.
Just got to be careful, West Perth, not to allow Litherland to be the free player behind the ball. And they do go inside their forward 50. Subiaco so good at working together.
This ball still unable to be extracted by anyone. Manzoni over the top. Kitchen. The stalemate continues.
We've got a Lee Kitchen tackle watch for everybody. After 10 in the first quarter, he's up to 15. Slacked right off in the second quarter with just 1. 15 tackles. Wow.
Big numbers, aren't they? Black. Nelson. Two familiar names in the midfield for West Perth. Manzoni. A bouncing ball. Litherland kept his cool. Just ran out of room, did Rowan Powell.
Played a bit of footy for Claremont and East Perth as well, Rowan Powell.
Through the alignment.
Yep, from Broome, is he not?
Yes.
Yep.
Normally we'd suggest it'd be nice to be in that part of the world right now, but Perth is a pretty good option. With the temperatures finally nudging into the mid-20s. Phelan. Ball heads out in the Kennedy direction. Touch of fortune with that, but they'll take it.
Twice.
Fibino. Asked something of Clark.
Good.
Well, it was a wonderful kick, Dennis, as you said. Clark, for all his athleticism, did not have to break stride.
That's the case with the last 2 kicks. The other one, he led well towards the footy. It's hard to stop.
Well, it was the space, and Fimino just said, here, told Zach Clark where to run.
So Clark, looking for his second in this quarter. He's only just going to sail through for a minor.
And in fairness to the defender, Hamilton, that time, you generally concede the boundary if you're conceding anything, don't you?
Yep.
He did that.
Seen West Perth this afternoon with a desire to use the corridor, but confidence is waning. They just have to look at the scoreboard to realise it hasn't been successful. Horsley on Shannon. It's a push out. And Kyle Horsley gets to his feet. More importantly, so does Shannon after that. Heavy hit.
Himself more than Shannon, I reckon.
Delahunty almost taken out. Pearce is by Clark.
Still pretty slow at the moment, isn't it, from West Perth? Just need to pull the trigger a bit quicker. Inside 45 kick, get some handball receives going.
Got to find the trigger.
As we said, it will last a long time if West Perth can't generate some scores in this second half. Munns is there, Fimino as well. Fimino gets back involved. Joyce, hand pass too slick for Walters. Nelson toe pokes it, but straight to Waters. Horsley off the left. The captain goes all the way. And may well he raise his arms in triumph. All I know is the judges for the Simpson medal are going to have to really work hard on picking out the best player on the ground.
They're pretty good numbers from Kyle Horsley. Missed out on a Sandover medal as a favourite to Jai Bolton, but 22 and 2 goals. And I know which medal I'd rather be winning.
That was a special kick too, wasn't it?
Well, the 2 goals he's kicked this afternoon have been outstanding. Not generally his forte. Yes, Litherland just Matthew Scarlett like the way he just toe poked it to the advantage to Luca. Munns came late. Horsley, outstanding. Won it, gave it to Waters, back to Kennedy, and now it's starting to look really ugly for West Perth. Inside 50, spectacular effort over the top. Good mark taken by King.
Terrific mark.
At the moment for West Perth supporters to smile. Hasn't been a lot to cheer about, particularly after quarter time. To the wing, Heel came in on the angle. Lowry has him. Could have almost been penalised.
Could have been penalised for taking the legs there as well. Subi.
And Clark, the WWE move as well to ensure Rudy can't get some space.
And you would think South Fremantle watching this would be a little forlorn.
Yes, but from what we've seen from them, Dan, they just, like other teams, Peter Bell's pointed it out, going with Subiaco for 4 quarters has been impossible.
Well, the problem for South Dan, I think, was that they had one eye on this week, last week when they were paying the Falcons, and West Perth were good enough to make them pay.
Exactly.
And a bit of frustration sneaking in, you suspect, from a West Perth perspective. Not sure who instigated this.
But during the finals, South Freo took it to them for a quarter and a bit.
Yep.
It's the only time I've really seen Subiaco on the back foot during the finals. Claremont, people tell me, were unlucky not to have defeated Subi during the year.
They kicked 10 goals from turnovers last week. Their pressure was outstanding. Hasn't been to the level today. And Subiaco, they don't fumble too often. They don't give the ball back.
And against Claremont, they kicked 16-3, didn't they? Which helped Subi.
Absolutely, kept Peter Bell's prediction alive. He was fretting, he was texting me saying...
What prediction was that?
Well, wait, we'll get back to that because I'm sure you will if I don't. Out of there, West, high ball, strike. Outstanding mark, yes. The unbeaten call came a few weeks back from Peter Bell.
A few weeks.
Rudy Riddick. He's hoping to find some options inside 50. Lockyer might take the mark. Ball hits the deck. Clark. And they just work it out so well. Even the scramblers end up in a Subiaco footy. Keitel. Release handball. Not. He's got 3 to beat. And Litherland taking an eternity just to gather. The sting's gone out of West Perth at the moment.
Oh, Newton didn't want it.
He doesn't want it. He might be a bit sore. But that's the level Subiaco are playing at. They have their opponents befuddled at the moment. And Delahunty receives some treatment from Pearce.
50.
And it'll be 50 metres.
Just a work rate issue at the moment, isn't it, for West Perth? They had the ball in their forward line. 4 Subiaco players getting back uncontested, work their way out. Now the easy let off.
73-point margin. closing in on three-quarter time. Phelan. It's a bullet, but it hit the deck first. And Wheeler now has an issue.
You wonder sometimes with a player like Litherland, he gets his opportunity at AFL at Hawthorn, just when they are so strong. If he was at a weaker club, I reckon he would have played a lot more AFL footy.
Phelan. Oh, it's a gift for Sokol in the square, if you don't mind.
Brilliant by Clark. Sokol, quiet in this term, gets his 4th goal.
They are queuing up. And Lachlan Delahunty is joining us now. 17 disposals, Lachlan. Hard not to look at the scoreboard and realise that you're almost there.
Yeah, we don't count until it's done, but we're just got to dig deep for another quarter and a bit and hope to get the cake.
Lachlan, did you know that Lee Kitchen had 10 tackles in the first quarter? He was unbelievable.
Mate, he's been ramping up this for 2 weeks. I live with him. And he's been tackling the fridge, he's been tackling the couch. He was hungry for today, so it does not surprise me at all.
Ben Sokol's been pretty good next year in the forward line with 4 goals so far.
Yeah, he's clanking them, isn't he? He had a good year last year, but obviously we didn't win it, so he's got a big message to prove today, and he's doing a really good job.
Lachlan, work to be done still, but I'd rather be in your place than West Perth, so enjoy the rest of the grand final.
Thanks, gentlemen. Cheers.
Lachlan Delahunty taking nothing for granted.
That was good about Kitchen, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Is his cousin over watching the game today?
I heard that. Tom Lynch, yeah, is in the crowd somewhere. The Gold Coast, well, was a Gold Coast start.
Hope he was meeting with Fremantle while he's over here.
Talking about the Tom Lynch that's going to Richmond. Okay. That's apparently done and dusted.
Richmond?
That's
what we're told, yeah.
So all the moves are starting to take place. Lachie Neale, Fremantle, where will he be in 2019? Andrew Gaff still to be locked away. So all happening around the grand final in the AFL. Shannon off to Meadows. And Lockyer always in position A.
It's a bit unsettling, all the talk about this time of the year and about who's going where, isn't it? Finals time.
Not sure we can avoid it, Den. It's part of the landscape.
Puts people in invidious situations, though.
Kennedy turns it over. A rarity. And King spots Black.
Great kick.
He's got some space and he's butchered it.
And his Lockyer's controlled everything, hasn't he? On the air, on the ground. Real marshal back there.
Moments ago when he spoilt that one, then chased it, he was never going to try and catch it. He still did the discipline thing and punched it again.
6 marks.
They're just unrelenting, Subiaco. We know the big margins they've won by throughout 2018. And today is going to be similar. Could blow out to 100 if they really decide to go for it in the last quarter. That ball lacks some depth, although Walters attacked the contest, didn't win it. Riddick helps out through the middle. And Van Berlo.
Oh, they're out here. Chalmers.
Keitel. And Chalmers. Watch out, Lockyer's coming hard. And Cunin with a horrendous bounce.
Is that a free kick? Yes.
It is.
Had to be a free kick. He punched it through.
Well picked up by Peter.
Outside the goal square. Didn't have to either. Gus.
Well, in footy karma, Cunin deserved. Well, he's not getting the free kick.
So the question is, what about if the goal square is another 20 metres out?
Question for next year. The goal.
Hopefully not.
So Litherland is outside the goal square and he's forced it through for a point. Umpire was right on it. They deserved that goal anyway. It was terrible luck, the bounce for Cunin.
Yes.
Quick ball movement by hand through the middle. They need
more of that.
Absolutely, just their third of the afternoon. It's been a Subiaco procession. Fimino. Ball spills free. Umpire waves them on. Alexandra is there. Wheeler goes off the ground. And Zoni there to mop up. He too gives it up. Phelan. And Newton's outsized here. And
good mark.
With a good reach.
Had a good season, Hamilton. Come on a lot.
Dangerous ball here. Van Berlo goes to ground. And this ball does stay in play. Riddick, clean, at his feet. Then loses his feet at the most inopportune time. Mills. And Heel read it superbly in flight. Let's head to Steve Butler for an update.
But the last few passages that he's been on, he's had a really sore right knee. He's coming back on as we speak, but he's in a bit of trouble, Shane Nelson. He's not the player he usually is.
And they needed everything to go their way this afternoon, West Perth.
Still had it 22 times, but probably has lacked the penetration that you normally expect of Shane Nelson.
Needed at 80.
Yeah, and they still may not have won.
No.
Sokol flirted with the idea of going himself. Wheeler does just that, and there's Zach Clark on the goal line. Eyes darting inboard, searching for an option, but that time may have passed now. Although, that's not much better angle for Sokol. But he gets a look at number 5.
He's kicked it.
It's time to start to blue.
It was a metre out, and he's kicked it 20 metres out.
But he's on a good angle for a right footer, if there is to be such.
There we go. Maybe, look at him.
It was a method with a plan, and 5 of the very best to Ben Sokol.
Five goals, Ben Sokol. What a pickup he has been for Subiaco. An unselfish play from Zach Clark. Could have had a shot himself, but realised his teammate had the hot hand.
There was method behind that madness.
Yeah. Got him from South Fremantle. They're very good at doing that, Subiaco. They look around the competition, the 40 lists of other clubs, and they just find the right players year after year.
Keitel into the ruck, strike into the middle. Riddick, strike, can use Nelson, went himself, and gets the bounce. Extraordinary.
The Ray smile.
It was similar to Jack Darling at this venue 24 hours ago. Not the same ramifications, of course, but it was well worked through the middle.
He was the key player coming in, I thought, for West Perth. Had to probably kick 3 to 5 goals for them to have any chance. He's had to move his position up the ground a little bit more. It's worked a little bit, hasn't it? They've looked a little bit more dangerous when they have got it to half forward. No point being right at full forward if the ball's not coming in.
One of the reasons they're here too, he was terrific last week, wasn't he? 4 goals.
With a bounce.
It's uncanny. He can take an uncanny mark too, and that was an uncanny goal.
The firefighter. Not sure he's got enough hoses to put out what Subiaco's throwing at West Perth this afternoon. 73 points. Closing in on 3/4 time. Nelson's hand pass too hot for Meadows. A couple of Falcons go to ground. Delahunty to the 50. Sokol maybe for 6 by 3/4 time.
Hasn't got the distance. We'll go to Clark.
Good call. And Zach well placed here. Hamilton destroys it. Oh, how easy was this for Joyce? Just couldn't nail it.
Did all the hard work. Put the step on. Just sprayed it wide. Joyce. Sokol again. Clean hands.
And Wilhelm. Nothing to go to by foot. Off to Black. And Zach Clark just...
Nothing too much in that, I wouldn't have thought.
No, just keeping life interesting for the Sandover medalist.
Good bump. Unless you received it.
And the Falcons tacking their way along the wing until the ball's knocked down over and outfield, and ensuring that West Perth probably won't be able to add to their tally of 4-3 by 3/4 time. Mark differential.
Unbelievable. That is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So too this season by Subiaco. Black, one arm pinned. And the sense of inevitability really sweeping through this West Perth side. So too for Subiaco. Keitel and Horsley slung. Poor bounce for Sokol. And Alexandra just buys some time. Heads to the wing. West Perth win it at the spill. Nelson. Chalmers is there.
Well done.
Shepherd came from Lowry. Chalmers, seconds ticking away. Strike. on the siren. It was always coming, and it had to come just as West Perth threatened again. But nothing can be taken away from this Subiaco side that is 1 quarter away from a perfect season. Macca's match day in the grand final of 2018. It's a 74-point lead. The Lions are just about home. Here's Jimmy Barnes, sums it up. No second prize today, and that applies to West Perth. Subiaco, their captain, Kyle Horsley. He might have missed winning the Sandover, but he'll have a premiership medallion around his neck in about 40 minutes from now. 3/4 time from Optus Stadium. It's 15-11 to 4-3. And Paul, it has been an outstanding display from the best team in the competition.
It has. 6 goals for 2 in that quarter. They were dominant again. Inside 50s now, 48 to 34. But their tackling pressure around the contest has been a real feature. 82 to 56. Yet they've had more of the footy, a lot more of the footy. Ben Sokol's been impressive. And Kyle Horsley through the midfield. They've also been served very well from a lot of their defenders. Jordan Lockyer, one of them.
And Den was onto this, plus 44 in the marks. So just been really able to control the footy, precise kicking. Outstanding.
Steve Butler has interviewed some highly credentialed football characters today. Who have you got now, Steve?
I've got the Carlton Draft Schooner Race winner, Alex Stammer here. And Alex, he was dominant at Subiaco out there too.
I wish I was, mate. But yeah, no, 3 years with alcohol, killer.
So it'll be good, but you celebrated pretty well too.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. Tough.
Good on you, man.
He runs like a thirsty man, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He's got some good wheels there, Dan. It's amazing what you can do to take a year's supply of alcohol. It's something to celebrate, and I get the feeling Leederville Oval, West Perth's spiritual home, might be a place of celebrations tonight for Subiaco, of course.
Doesn't seem right, does it? I mean, they deserve it thoroughly. They set the benchmark a few years back for the local teams, and really looking at them today, there's a long gap back to second place. We can see that now, but these teams behind them should aspire to catch them.
It's a huge mountain to climb from what we've seen today. They may lose players. Kyle Horsley was talked about potentially even as a possible retiree. There will be changes to the list. That's inevitable. Just a question of how many decide to bow out. We know Chris Cunin is going for West Perth. It's the last quarter for 2018. And what a place to be in as a Subiaco player to know that the result, and you can soak up 30 minutes of footy.
So there's a lot of tough times in footy. When you're in this position, it makes it all worthwhile. So keep doing the team things. No better feeling in the world.
Savour every second. 74 points the margin. Last quarter underway. Kitchenware's a bump, but dishes off to Kennedy. Subiaco on the move already. Cleverly done by Wheeler. Delahunty. Fimino gets it from Walters. Steadies. Straightens up. How big would this be? No, just to the right.
Exactly what I was talking about. Share the ball. Doesn't have to be you kicking the goal. Fimino missed, but it was really selfless play from Subi there.
This quarter could go one of two ways, couldn't it? If West Perth completely capitulate, the margin you think will get over the century. I'm sure Billy Monahan imploring, win that last quarter. Give your fans something to celebrate in the last 30 minutes of the year.
The trend in grand finals is for everyone to tear strips off the losing team, and I refuse to do it. I think it's been a good achievement by West Perth to get to the grand final. They've had a lot of things going on off-field. I think Bill Monahan has done an outstanding job. They would all be disappointed they won't be able to put up as much of a fight today, but to be a grand finalist, I think, is a good achievement from West Perth.
I think you're spot on.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure West Perth has been overly active recruiting in the last 12 months, but what Billy Monahan has worked with, he's done really well.
They didn't bring in anyone this year from a recruiting perspective.
There you go. Manzoni on his chest and possibly within range. He gets back off the mark, given that they will be touch and go from 50. Strike just lurking.
Needs to go back and kick it now. Andrew Strike, we know he would have got the distance.
So Just 4 goals this afternoon. It's been tough going for the Falcons. And Manzoni from long range. That was always shallow, searching for that extra meterage. So I wonder, Paul, given their lack of recruitment this year, whether that changes given the financial predicament the club's in.
Probably depends a bit on some of the retirements, if there are any, and if there's more money that's been opened up in the salary cap.
They'll need a ruckman. Kernan is going to retire. He's been a wonderful servant for them.
Absolutely. Here's Delahunty getting involved. Kitchen, Horsley. Walters is there, and Phelan was the next link in the chain. Didn't quite get to him initially, but once again, they just keep the ball rolling forward. And Firmino was there. Kennedy left it behind. Horsley into the path of Walters. Wilhelm was terrific under pressure, but it's coming straight back. Heel sets it up for Delahunty. Clever kick round his body, and Walters with sure hands, 45 out on a 45-degree angle.
And to add salt to the wound, I'm told the games in South Australia and Victoria today were both cliffhangers.
Well, to be honest, the back half of the year in the WAFL, the matches we've had, there have been some tight, wonderful matches, but that was always the suspicion with Subiaco today, that they would make this a one-sided affair. That ball stays in play. Awkward bounce for Halligan. Black on the up. Couldn't find his target. Goes back and retrieves it. Clark just went high initially. Aaron Black's tried hard this afternoon. Like most of his teammates, they've been overwhelmed. Gordon. Risky business into the back pocket. A high ball, and Delahunty's camped underneath it. Didn't take it. And there's numbers everywhere providing support. And Newton likes a look from 50.
Target practice.
Started very well, Ben Newton. 17 disposals, but he was one of the Subiaco players. Well, all of them were particularly fierce, but he won a lot of ball early.
From the back pocket, it's Black. Meadows, strong hands. Takes the game on. Successful kick. West. Nelson. And just has not been his day. Although he wins it. Loses it. May have been tackled. Lockyer. And this back half for Subiaco, almost impenetrable today. Kitchen pushing back, gives them an extra number. Turned over straight to Pearce.
Been exceptional, Pearce. Won a lot of contested footy.
And a good probing ball. Almost to the top of the square. Off hands. Heel. Delahunty, Horsley. And Sokol, who's had a big day at the office. Firmino scoots his way around the outer side. Not well directed, that kick.
Nothing to kick to. All the players were up defending. He's probably had to hold the ball up there.
Yeah.
Firmino.
Even stop and come back into the middle where he had support.
It was West at half-back initially. Keitel, quick release, had to. And a fumble. Walters. And they're surrounding them. Finally, Meadows does spot an option at half-back. Black. With him is Firmino. And there'll be some tired bodies after that passage of play.
A couple of good possessions from Meadows in the last 2 minutes. A big mark, 13 disposals. They've missed him a bit through the midfield today.
Yeah.
And that outer wing was knackered central for West Perth, wasn't it? Three of them out there, breathing heavily.
Taxing conditions today, very warm, certainly through the first half. To Luca. Well, Delahunty bounced off his chest. They continue to press. Wilhelm.
Is that high?
Takes Waters high. And then Pearce just to add some mayonnaise on top.
Well, Delahunty's had an interesting afternoon, as you see the high tackle there from Wilhelm on Waters. He's had 21 disposals, 0-3, but he's been unselfish as well. Has pinch hit in the ruck to give Zach Clark a spell. Delahunty could have had a massive afternoon, actually, when I think about it, but he still contributed strongly.
Someone like Bradley Stevenson, who's not playing at the moment. Does he stay at the football club? There's a few questions over players that just missed today. Reece Waters, of course, one coming back into the mix. It's a pleasant problem to have. 45 out. And the celebrations can continue in earnest.
Reece Waters gets his second goal. It was a terrific kick from Sorrento. Can you do that? Just put the headlock on like that?
Bit of a wrestling move, wasn't it, Dennis?
Son would have been proud of that. That's a good kick. He's proud of the kick. That was a beauty.
Oh, yes. Mark and Dennis Cometti joining us yesterday with the game.
Loved it. It was a great experience.
Yeah, it's an interesting time of the afternoon to be at Crown as well.
I was going to say, even the Beast was a little nervous. He looked around the room and thought, I better get out of here.
Well, lots of supporters from West Coast celebrating. Lowry didn't have anything on that kick. Picked off by Clark. Lockyer, we've all loved his game. And what a kick by Joyce, really. There were two in the middle, but he knew where they were, and Waters obliged. Delays the kick. Horrible off the boot. And as a consequence, West Perth do win it back. Oh, terrific by Mills. Up the ground. Spectacular in the air. Strikes the target. Not quite. Heel in the way. And terrific. That's Litherland again off the outside of his boot.
2 beat 4.
And Powell. And they just are such well-drilled unit.
So Clark gets another look, does he, in the AFL? Zach Clark?
Kind of depends on what happens with West Coast, I think. I reckon they'd have some interest in him, but they seem to be around Roughhead and as at Hickey at St Kilda as well. They're going to need some ruck reinforcement.
Halligan, Fimino and Sokol.
I wouldn't think he'd be first choice for anybody, but maybe insurance if things don't eventuate as they plan.
I presume that, not necessarily Zach Clark, but Richmond will be on the lookout for some support for Nankervis if we're casting the net and what we've seen over the weekend. But his body looks pretty sound, Zach Clark, so it's just a question of whether
Sokol
he gets some support. Sokol unselfishly back to Newton, and West Perth players, as Dennis suggested, going up and down on the one spot. Once the spirit is gone, the body follows quickly.
Just talking about ruckman, you would imagine that Brodie Grundy is a huge obstacle for the West Coast Eagles next week, isn't he? In rare form.
Yeah, and Max Gawn presents a big challenge, or presented a big challenge, and they did a really good job on Max Gawn, but Grundy's just a running machine. Different kind of challenge.
He's a midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah.
Numbers that he's been getting. Changing the game, I reckon, for ruckman.
Yep.
Can't wait for next Saturday, MCG, but all eyes in the West on this Subiaco side that continues to take all before it. That's going to Subiaco hands in about 20 minutes from now.
And well deserved, dominant. They lost the last two to Peel, of course.
So take that out of the equation, albeit they are grand final losses. It's been a wonderful era, so competitive. Chalmers at full stretch. Just 4 goals this afternoon. Strike will get a run at this. Lockyer, though, provided enough of a contest. Kitchen taken to ground. It'll be this time of the afternoon Paul Hazelby starts to finalise his thoughts on Simpson medal duties. Well, Colts have won, reserves have won. The medals can be seen. As we said, Leadable Oval will be rocking tonight on a public holiday, no less, tomorrow. Heaven help us. Chalmers around the body, and some solace in the last quarter for Bill Monahan.
Corey Chalmers, the most vocal in the three-quarter time huddle, I noticed. Had a bit to say about fighting on, and, well, he's done that. It's a clever goal.
Chris Cunin is fighting on too. What a player he's been in the WAFL competition. Over 200 games. He won the last clearance. There he is. His last game today.
His last 15 or so minutes. Twice. Couldn't make contact by boot. Horsley Up to 33 disposals and 2 goals. Wonderful afternoon for the captain. Manzoni, Pierce, tried his heart out today, but could have been penalised on that occasion. Horsley's run out of bounds. And it's a tough day at the office for every player wearing red and blue.
Crunching tackle. Kitchen's been terrific in and under. And this man right up there with him.
Chant for Subiaco and Lee Kitchen trying to inspire this crowd. It's almost regulation in September. Subiaco are part of the action. Kitchen also at the base of this. Just cast aside like a rag doll.
Apparently you can do that too.
Van Berlo has nothing to give there. And they've now decided to call it holding the ball.
Or a fend off, perhaps.
Okay. Joyce is the recipient. Cunin on the ankle. And so word coming through that more than 25,000 people at today's WAFL Grand Final. Has to be said, Subiaco not the most well-supported side or most supported side in the competition. West Perth has a good following.
They will be, though, if this keeps happening.
Yeah. Generations of kids who follow the WAFL. DeLuca puts it to a central area. Sokol was there. At the spill, they've got numbers, and they've turned it over. Gordon, Black. Hand pass back to Gordon from Alexandra. Oh, brilliant smother on Black. Comes back to Halligan. Oh,
brilliant.
What a performance, Subiaco. It's complete.
They work so hard, don't they? Subiaco forwards, they're all involved. West Perth had the numbers, and just to see them defend, turn it over. That man Halligan, he's now got 5 on the biggest stage. That's a day out.
And they enjoy each other's success. Terrific.
Absolutely. Subiaco 15 minutes away from enjoying the moment officially. Kennedy was put down. No real malice in it. But it stung.
Yeah, I think it hurt. Right on the shoulder.
Wheeler couldn't drag it down. Phelan, terrific use of the body. And it's a situation where players feeling the heat of the battle.
Fair enough, that kick downfield too, I think, Skeeton, as much as it could get a bit silly now from West Perth's point of view, couldn't it? Halfway through the last quarter, just need to be careful. And the umpire, I think, judging that was a time to blow his whistle.
Yep, nothing to be gained from either party on this occasion. If there's a flare-up, Lowry, Clark now getting into knot. There's a way to be a good loser. There's also a way to be a humble winner. I guess could be instructed out there at the moment. Pierce, Phelan, and they are really just counting down the seconds in many respects to the final siren. Only 17 and a half gone in this last quarter. It's a wonderful side here. 25,000 plus. But like yesterday in the AFL, very one-sided. Phelan. Speculative hand pass. Delahunty. And Kitchen gathers. Puts it to a dangerous spot. Sokol is there, but Alexandra read it best. And sends Munns on a journey to the other side. Great run down. Will be rewarded. And Sokol has hurt himself in the process.
Well, if he's feeling sore, he should just have a look at the scoreboard where it says that Ben Sokol has 5 goals. And that'll make him feel a bit better.
Great tackle.
His teammate over the top, Road.
He's been impressive. 5 goals through. Missed a couple early. Then got his radar going and doing the hard things.
Loads up. Not much Subiaco representation there. Handed it from King. And Kyle Horsley knows Another premiership. He's about to head to his club. Many believe very unlucky not to win the Sandover. Of course, he missed a game during the year to go and attend a music festival, I believe. So, it will have cost him a Sandover, but it's the premiership I'm sure he'll cherish tonight. Riddick, clever tap on, and they're out big time here. Nelson, Chalmers, he's got runners in the middle, including West and Strike. And West, well, the ball continues to escape his grasp. They're making heavy weather of this. And now Strike going back with the flight has lost the bearings of it.
They've had some shocking luck too, West Perth. I mean, Subi have dominated, yes, but a couple of the bounces of the ball haven't gone their way either. This would not come up for West there. Strike, if it just bounces normally, Strike runs into an open goal.
Done and dusted.
Yeah.
Mexican wave means that the fans even getting a little disgruntled as a push out. Zach Clark, clearly, from the umpire's perspective, wins the ball. Off to Road. And Kennedy is the short option. You know, in baseball, there's a mercy rule. Riddick did pretty well. Off to Mills. Had eyes only for the target, but sprays it. 121 plays 33. Of course, don't forget 7 News coming up at 6 o'clock tonight. And a complete wrap of the West Coast Eagles. The aftermath of that victory at this venue yesterday. The build-up to next week's grand final as they chase their 4th flag, their 7th appearance on footy's biggest stage, all in 7 News with Angela Sun and Adrian Barrett from 6 tonight. It's had a tough day, and it's not getting any better. Kitchen, high ball, Hamilton went early. Keitel there to help out, and Black has it just outside the 50. Sends it to the goal square, almost spectacular. Never going to take the mark, that West Perth player, but he's hit the ground in a very awkward manner.
Cunin, was it?
Yep,
Cunin. I'd like to have a look at that again.
That might be an all-time high for Cunin.
Well, wow.
He was never going to take the mark, but acrobatically sent sprawling. Clark directs it down. Black's over the top. And Optus Stadium is full of life. Albeit the game isn't. It's been 47 points at half-time. Black around his body, and that will bring some cheer to the Falcons faithful.
He's tried hard, as he always does. Aaron Black, 27 disposals, a couple of goals. The same names have won a lot of footy. Nelson, 28. I thought Pearce has played really well, 21 disposals, but his work around the stoppages has been terrific.
Restart, and Phelan hits the 50 almost. Hamilton and Munns neither had a real impact. Over the top was Delahunty, and the umpire calls it into it.
Still hard running out of the centre by Horsley. He was goal side of that pack, and he started in the centre square, almost in the outer circle. 7 times the 5 vote getter in the Sandover medal this season. Or was it 5 by 7? I'm not sure. A lot.
Prominent. Ben Newton's feeling the effects of a blow. Well, only hazarding a guess here, but
yeah, I know that look.
Yes.
He's got one where you, as a male, you don't want to get one.
Absolutely. That seems to be the consensus in cricket. Everyone finds humour in it apart from the person involved. He's really struggling to get off the ground. Lockyer.
Really locked his game.
What a game he's
really
played.
locked his game.
I mean, let's be honest, the numbers won't be anything staggering, but
7 rebound 50s, 19 disposals, and a number of spoils.
Yep. So he has been among the mix for the better players this afternoon. Feeling on his chest.
Tough job, actually. That's 50.
It is too.
You can't step over. It doesn't matter. Look, it doesn't. You can't step over the mark.
So Peter Bell.
Well, you can't.
Expert comments. No. He's doing it all at the moment.
Doesn't matter. Umpires do what they want at this stage.
Well, look at the margin. Does it really matter?
Clark with some run. Gets good contact. Halligan. And Falcons find the line through the agency of Gordon.
For those hanging out for the information, 7 5-vote games.
Who's that?
Horsley this season.
Wow. And as I said, missed a match to go on a
Did he miss a match, or did he just go on the weekend off? I don't think he missed a match.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that, but he did go to a music festival. And then his form dropped off a little bit by the very high standards that he sets.
Okay. Well, you interviewed him on Sound of It.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay. I was perhaps stretching the truth a fraction with.
Yeah.
I think we're getting a bit too picky, boys.
So he's a proven poll getter, vote getter, and
he did see Kendrick Lamar though. So
yeah, well, excuses can be made on all fronts. Either way, we know that when it comes to the Simpson medal, he's going to be somewhere in the mix.
Have to be.
18-13 to 6-3. Reece Waters back in the side. Hamilton almost in the goal square. Uses Van Berlo.
Kitchen just relentless, isn't he? Still chasing hard right in the goal square.
Gee, that was a good mark by Strike. Now, we see Knott at his best.
Oh, went one-handed.
Went one-handed, and that is that. Road and Sokol hangs on, second attempt, but it's been one of those days for so many of these West Perth players.
Not as the future for West Perth in many respects, one of a number, but he'll learn by that. I'm sure it'll be reinforced after the game or during the week.
He's had a great year, but should have gone with 2 hands.
Sure.
And he's heading to the bench to have a think about it. The celebrations, at least on the bench for Subi, who've started to bubble. Clark really getting them going in the middle. And he puts this to a dangerous area. Delahunty was there. King with the fist. Waters hoping for a high contact call. Unforthcoming. Meadows dropped it immediately. Ends up with Shannon. In turn to Van Berlo. And they've negotiated their way outside defensive 50.
50 hit-outs. Zach Clark, 16 to advantage. It's a massive afternoon.
Paul Hazelby, I've never seen him look more worried about putting...
It's tough. When a team wins like this, it is very hard.
It's you, not me. No, that's a mark.
It's a mark.
Absolutely, Mills. And he does it with a smile on his face. He doesn't spend a lot of time in attack. He's showing his value at times this afternoon.
Good kick to advantage. Used the body well. Just read a little bit better against Lockyer, who's been so good today.
So that threat of a 100-point margin, you'd think now averted. Can Jordan Mills from 25 out? No angle. Yes, he can. A late one for West Perth.
Mills with the goal. And I think the Subiaco bench pretty keen to get their coach down from the coach's box to join in the festivities. Oh, is he down there yet? I don't think it's not Scoey's sort of form, is it? Can't see him.
Not far away, I'm sure.
He'll wait for the siren.
He'll enjoy this one.
Hope he doesn't get lost in the lifts. He was in the middle of that huddle, apparently, I'm told.
King. And West it was who made the break through the middle. Off to Manzoni. Riddick. Brilliant. Can he finish? Oh, that would have been something late to enjoy. Ticking into the 30th minute. And Subiaco's season has been as good as we've seen. 1946, the last team to go through undefeated, and the first club ever to win the Colts reserves and the league in the same year on the same day. And Halligan wants some more. He's got a runner out the back.
It's Waters.
And Waters knows from 15 out slight angle, he too can enjoy the moment.
There he is, the coaching mastermind. What a job he has done. They've lost the last 2 premierships with a lot of Fremantle players representing Peel. They've backed it up this year and have been undefeated through an entire season.
As predicted by P. Bell a long time ago, but this side deserves so many plaudits. Waters comfortably cruises in, and they've kicked 18, make that 19. It's the perfect season, and perhaps the sweetest premiership of all. The Lions do it comfortably, and what has been an extraordinary day for the Subiaco Football Club.
Let's get down to Steve Butler with a very happy Subiaco coach.
Extremely happy Subiaco coach Jared Schofield. It was 72 years since the team was undefeated in a WAFL season. Jared, you've done it.
You know, it's all about the perfect game. I couldn't be any prouder of my boys. Like, I probably get emotional. Like, they're just the quality of these blokes I coach. That's why I love the club so much. You know, I grew up playing for this club, and you know, to set all these records, and they never got ahead of themselves. And you talk about asking for the perfect game. You know, like to hit 100 tackles and control the ball and win the ball on the inside, all those KPIs that we pride ourselves on. If I'm looking for a perfect game, today was that game. And it was just a fitting way just to finish off a fantastic day for the footy club. And I'm just proud of the footy club in general.
Lachlan Delahunty was saying Lee Kitchen was running around the house during the week, tackling the couch, the fridge and everything else as well.
Well, I just said, when he's at his best, he's banging bodies, and he's had 19 tackles and like 20 odd possessions. But it was the other midfielders as well. I think they had 8 or 9 tackles apiece, and our forwards applied pressure. The blokes up forward, I thought, you know, lock you down back was sensational. I couldn't, no bloke put a foot wrong today, and that's what you want in these games.
Jared, it's the club you love. Your son's won a premiership in the Colts today. You've won an undefeated premiership season. It's a special day for you, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Oh, there'll be a few tears shed later, I reckon. I better make sure I don't get emotional now, but I'm just going to soak it up because it's one of those amazing feats that we've been able to do this year. And as I said, I'm just very fortunate I get the coach these blokes.
What about this bloke kissing you, Kyle Horsley?
He's a ripper. He's my man. It's all worth it now. It's all worth it now.
Go and enjoy it, mate. Congratulations. We'll grab Kyle now. Well, Kyle, congratulations, mate. Many thought you were pretty unlucky not to get the Sandover medal, but I think you'll be pretty happy with the medal you've got today.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. You know, you can't drink beers with the boys after winning the Sandover. Today's what we play for, and you know, everyone talks about the list we've got and everything, but you don't see how hard these blokes work. They rock up in summer. Doesn't matter if you're the oldest bloke on the list or the youngest bloke. Everyone just buys in, works so hard. They're so competitive, and everyone of the whole squad deserves everything they get.
You got yourself a moment over there, kicked a goal off the boundary and soaked it up with the arms aloft, mate.
Yeah, I've had to settle that down actually. I got a few beer sculls for that one, but yeah, I think it was one of them moments. Off the boot, it felt pretty sweet, so I knew she was going through, and by that stage, you know, the boys done the hard work, got the results, so I carried on a little bit too much.
It's been 3 years in the making, a little bit, the last 2 grand final losses, Kyle, but today it must be pretty sweet. Tell us a bit about your boys.
Mate, they're an incredible bunch of guys. The guys who missed out, everyone worked so hard. I know the belief in the group from the start, and there was a hell of a lot of pressure on. You know, you try not to get involved with it, but the 18, 19 straight, the perfect season, always getting told here, family and friends saying, oh, you can't lose, you can't lose. That pressure builds and builds. So I think today we just executed everything we wanted to do well, and I'm so proud of the whole squad, from the Colts to Reserves of League, everyone involved, all the trainers, the physios, everyone worked so hard. And if we didn't love each other, it'd be a pretty tough club to be around, because we're pretty ruthless on each other and we demand a lot, but we all love each other that much that, you know, it's all worth it.
Well, Kyle, you've led a champion team with a champion season yourself, mate. Well done, and go and enjoy it.
Cheers, mate. Thank you so much.
And we got Zach Clark here too, guys. Zach, congratulations. Must feel pretty sweet.
Oh, absolutely. It's a great feeling in the grand final. You know, every win we had, the pressure kind of kept building. You say you don't feel it, but you do feel the pressure of expectation. But I had full faith in the boys. Obviously, came out, got the job done, really professional.
How was this for a moment for you? Obviously, cut from the AFL, you come back here, you put your hand up and you play just some magnificent footy all year, mate.
Oh, from the minute I stepped in the door at Subi, it's been a great year. Like, it's a great club, great culture, and I've just enjoyed every minute of it. To top it off with the premiership, yeah, it's great.
Well, it must feel pretty sweet now, although the doctor tells us you got a pretty nasty cut on the hand there.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening in there. There's a few tendons and stuff hanging out, but we'll deal with that later. We'll enjoy the celebrations first.
Well, Zach, we've loved watching you play all season. Well done, mate.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Steve Butler there with Jared Schofield and then Cole Horsley and Zach Clark. He's got a sore hand, probably because he had 50 hit-outs, 16 to advantage. He was really important. Cunin was valiant and Lowry was tried in the ruck, but he really set it up for a lot of the Subiaco midfielders. But Den, pretty difficult to find any Subiaco player who didn't contribute today.
Absolutely, and that goes back to the coaching of Jared Schofield. 6th season at Subiaco, 3 premierships now, and the ones he lost were against the odds, you have to say that.
Presentations soon. Mark Readings has headed down to ground level, and we'll look forward to these medallions being awarded to the Subiaco Football Club, 81-point victors over West Perth. There's the moment. That's the reason you play football for Subiaco. What a juggernaut they have become. They lost in 2016, they lost in 2017. They have won today. What a venue that is. Optus Stadium, and Subiaco have done the job as we head down to ground level to our Master of Ceremonies, Mark Readings.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the presentation for the 2018 McDonald's WAFL Premiership Cup. The hallmark of the season has been the close and exciting competition between all teams. Every club has fought hard for a place in the finals, with Subiaco and West Perth earning their place in today's game. Please show your appreciation for both teams here today. In the field for today's League Grand Final, on an umpiring perspective, we had Matt Adams, Justin Power and Ben Laycock, with emergency Alex Martin running the boundary. We had Brad Hunt, Jordan Russell, Michael Washbourne and Ryan Kokura, and in goals, Sam Hunter and Steve Gainsler, with Brodie Payne, third scorer. Ladies and gentlemen, the culmination of the 2018 season, we also have a winning team and a losing team. Could you please join me in welcoming the captain of West Perth, Aaron Black, up to the stage.
I'll be pretty quick. Firstly, congratulations to all 3 grades at Subi, but the senior squad, obviously, a well-deserved win in the end. You've had a fantastic year, so a lot of respect goes to you guys, Horse and Jared, for leading them this year. Fantastic effort to our boys and the coaching staff. Massive thank you for this year. I don't think anyone thought that we'd be in this position, and I'm unbelievably proud to say that, you know, we made it to this day, but we've still got a bit of work to do. And, you know, we'll be back in next year and the years to come. I'd like to thank also all the people who've put in, you know, time, money, effort to get the club into the position it is now. All the work you've done and time you've put in, you know, at the end of the day, we probably couldn't be here, or we wouldn't be here without you. So, you know, the players, the staff, everyone at the footy club really appreciate the work and the time that you've put in. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Now, in recognition of the player judged best of field in today's grand final, we will now present the Simpson Medal. This award has been presented since 1945 to the most outstanding players in grand finals and state game. Can I please ask Paul Simpson, representing the Simpson family, to join me on stage to announce this year's winner.
Thank you, Mark. On this, the culmination of an amazing year for Subiaco, it is only fitting that the #1 player on the ground should go to #1 for Subiaco, Kyle Horsley. Well done, mate. Nice to see you come.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty emotional. It's been a great year. Yeah, it's obviously I'll probably get back up here in a bit and speak about the West Perth boys, but you guys, the pressure you guys had, Bill's already one of the legends of the comp, and Aaron's well and truly on his way. And the leadership you blokes showed to get your group up for the day and to get yourself to a grand final. What's going on externally? I know in the press you've talked about it doesn't matter. You've talked about it's not influencing, but it's got to have some impact. And you guys, you can hold your head high. Today wasn't your day, but last week you guys were exceptional, and it just shows how strong of a group and how resilient you guys are. To our guys, what an incredible year it's been. It couldn't be any tougher. To Yasman and Wayne Horsey, we love you blokes. We know you're looking down on us. It's your day as much as it is ours. You guys did so much for our group. What you guys showed for us, and the way you took us in, the way you embraced our culture. That's what impacts us. That's what drives us. Obviously, our boys, it was an incredible win. We talked about executing a game plan. We talked about not getting caught up in the noise, but then I think I was carrying on in the change room before the game about the noise, so sorry about that, boys. But I love you. As to the coaching group, you guys demand a lot. I know you take a lot of pressure on Jared. He demands a lot of you guys. It's a seriously hard year, but this is why we do it. All 3 grades winning. I love you, boys. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle, and thank you to Paul Simpson. I'll now invite the Premiership players of the Subiaco Football Club to come forward individually and accept their Premiership medallions from the members of your Little League team who are here today. We begin with number 2, Justin Joyce. Number 3, Hayden Kennedy. Number 4, Reece Waters. Number 5, Lee Kitchen. Number 6, Rowan Powell. Number 8, Angus Litherland. Number 9, Josh DeLuca. Number 10, Kyle Halligan. Number 11, Ben Newton. Number 12, Greg Clark. Number 15, Chris Phelan. Number 17, Lachlan Delahunty. Number 18, Ben Sokol. Number 20, Clancy Wheeler. Number 21, Jordan Lockyer. Number 22, Max Walters. Number 23, Zach Clark. Number 30, Jacob Miller.
Number 32, Braden Fimino. Number 35, Drew Road. Number 36, Aaron Heel. And ladies and gentlemen, number 1, the captain, the Simpson medalist, Kyle Horsley. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome WA Football Hall of Fame legend John Todd to present the John Todd Medal to the 2018 Premiership Coach. This medal has been named after John in recognition of his outstanding coaching record and his long involvement in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the winning coach, Jared Schofield, to receive the John Todd Medal.
Pretty popular here, Scully. Thanks, Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, look, condolences to West Perth. They just weren't good enough. Subiaco, I think with your permission, Jared, will perhaps organise a game against Carlton, Brisbane Lions, or Brisbane Suns, and maybe Fremantle. You've got a chance of beating the three of them, I reckon. Well done for an outstanding year. So not only to win the grand final, but to win the 3 grades. And your coaching, the way you've got the guys together, pulling as one and sharing the silverware together, fantastic. Well done, Jared.
Thanks, John. Firstly, to Bill and the West Perth boys, obviously it wasn't your day today, but you know, we have just utmost respect for you as a footy club. As you can see, obviously you've gone through a tough year and it does galvanise you, but I know that you guys will be there again next year. But thanks for obviously making us have to really step up our game. Obviously the disappointment of losing a couple of weeks ago, you know, I suppose all the punters would have thought we would have been facing South Fremantle, but we knew probably behind closed doors that because of the quality of people you are and the club that you are, that we were defronting you and we had to be at our best today. So all the best to Bill and the boys. Obviously we'll see you again next year. Before I thank our boys, I want to thank all the sponsors, obviously the sponsor of this great competition. It is at the forefront of, I suppose, state league competitions, hence why we win all the state games. It's a tremendous effort, so thanks to the sponsors, because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have this great competition. To our supporters, I was expecting probably a bit more red and blue, but I was really surprised to see how much maroon and gold was here today, and we thank you for your support over the course of this year and today. Thank you. To our footy club, firstly I'll leave the boys till last, but to the board, thank you for the support that you guys provide us as a playing group and a coaching group. Thank you to my coaches. You know, I'm standing here, but if it wasn't for you guys and the countless hours that you put in to get these guys up to speed and the game that we want to play, I wouldn't be able to do the things I do as a coach. So I thank you coaches, because we do work hard, but we got our rewards today, and as we've seen, it's been a fantastic year. Our club in general, I want to make a special mention to the Colts, Bo Waterman, Matt Kavanagh with our reserves coach as well, and his coaching assistants as well. What a club we've got, and I'm blessed to be at the forefront of that, to win the 3 premierships today and set some records. Is a tremendous effort to what this club stands for, so well done to the whole club in general. To the playing group, what can I say? I know sometimes you probably think, geez, I've got to walk through that front door and go through the 4 walls of our footy club and think you're going to get touched up and how hard we worked. But you know, hopefully you guys now can see how much hard work pays off. You know, it's been a tough couple of years. We won't shy away from that now. I'll put that on record. The last 3 years have been tough, but we've worked our asses off. And we deserved everything that we've got, because I know you guys work, and you know, to see the group of players that you are, I know how tight you are off the field, and it translates on the field. The way you played today, boys, I couldn't be any prouder. I love you blokes, and let's enjoy this, eh?
The WAFL would also like to sincerely thank McDonald's for their support this year, asking Brad McMahon to come forward and present the Premiership Cup and pennant. By the way, McDonald's has been a major partner of footy in WA since 2015, supporting all levels of footy, grassroots, right through to the WAFL and the AFL nationally. On that note, with the trophy not far away, I'd like to congratulate the 2018 Premiers, Subiaco, as they come up on stage.
And there you go, to the victors go the spoils. The Subiaco Football Club have been winners in the Colts. They've been winners in the reserves, and they have been winners in the league. Jared Schofield, Cole Horsley was the Simpson medalist. Plenty more to come on Macca's Match Day.